say I'm conceited, like there's no reason, like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like, when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete, well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my work. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me, how'd I turn pain into energy. Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first.
Look at my shine with the glow. This is my time with it though. This is my time to be way at the top. Me and my guys gon' pay out the block. I don't look like boss, time's right. And I know the sea is walking in the limelight. Promise you gon' wanna watch like a sci-fi. My guys are high risers, high tide. My crown if you come to my side. I pledge allegiance for lifetime. My squad connected like Wi-Fi. We grind and you see the highlights. This my life. It ain't a game now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Don't step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Game now, me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Don't step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way.
fresh map, get lost now with no extract. Like, look, that's all me. Got my number, don't call me. We eating up, that's all beef. You freezing up, that's y'all's team. Cause we don't really lose no more. All about heating up, leaving that cold. You can see beating up, killing that show. I ain't about giving up, no. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Look, you got a problem with me. Look, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me, then you never gonna stop me.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and Monster Energy.
Won't stop going till a player on top know it. Rooftop penthouse suite. If you really want it, gotta own it. Fly through it, we was at the lowest. Blood, sweat, tears, the components. Riding all year, now's the moment. We are not friends, we are opponents. Yeah, I'm coming for mine. Yeah, I'm making a play. The game on the line. Yeah, I've been on the grind. Yeah, I jump in the spot. I made it my time. Yeah, look in the sky. Yeah, the stars align. No shade to shine. Can't stop it already. Emotional work and devotion. We put in this time. Look. You won't stop.
Welcome to the Free Fire Snapdragon Pro Series Season 1 Open Finals. My name's AJ, I'm the Mustachio, down here with the one and only Danley to bring you guys the broadcast of the day.
It's going to be so exciting these next 2 days because we are here with the top 12 teams that are going to be battling out for that top 6 spot. And of course, that prize pool, that juicy prize pool, AJ. But how are you doing?
I am doing absolutely great. I mean, I missed a couple of days from the league stages, which I'm absolutely upset about. But to have the honor to shoutcast the grand finals for you guys 2 days back-to-back is something that I'm really pleased. And to do that with you, I am super excited, Dan.
Yeah, we're here with the dessert, right? We've got the best teams. We're going to be getting some awesome Free Fire. And of course, this is very important for the teams as well, right? Because the top 6, some people are thinking, why top 6? That's a lot of teams. The top 6 teams are going to be earning a spot, a direct invite to next season. And that's going to be a big deal, right? It's basically an easy ride to next season. They're going to be able to focus on training. They don't have to worry about qualifying. So it's a very important day today as well as tomorrow, because once you've made it, you've made it. Otherwise, you're going to keep chugging.
And what's the big deal about the next season, right? I mean, they've fought, they've earned their way in through Season 1. Is it going to be so tough in Season 2? Yes, it's going to get way tougher, right? Because we talked about how the Snapdragon Pro Series was set up just to support the community just a little bit. I mean, so we've got a decent prize pool. We've got 10,000 Singapore dollars this time around. But in Season 2, we're going to have a massive 300,000 US dollar prize pool across the regions.
That's a massive upgrade.
That's insane. I mean, that's not an upgrade, right? That's like just taking it on to a whole new level. I do not know how the marketing team achieved that, but whoever you are, however you brought in that deal for all of these teams to fight for, you are a champion.
Yeah. I mean, it justifies the whole concept of a battle royale, right? You got a battle royale for that big sum of money. But of course, for today, let's take a look at our 12 teams that are going to be competing for today's prize pool and that top 6 spot. Now, as you can see right now, we have AKO, Ultraman, Anxiety, Divine, EVA Continue, GM Remy, Hard to Get, K9 Esports, Legion Alpha, Orange Esports, ORV Tyrant, Warsus PH, and finally, Who's Next? Kalasug PH. These are our top 12 teams that are going to be competing today and tomorrow. And the question here is, who is going to make top 6?
Oh yeah, absolutely right. And one very interesting fact is also the fact that the Philippines seem to be dominating this Season 1 Open Finals. Usually we see an influx of Malaysian teams, not this time, right? The dominant foot forward, let's see if or not the increased prize pool will tease the Malaysians just a little bit more. But the experience is being gained by all of these teams, especially teams like ORV Tyrants, who have shown us not only are they desperate for this, they are absolutely hungry. In fact, one of the hungriest ones out there, scraping through from the league stages with just one extra point in comparison to those in the 13th spot the last time round. That, I mean, against Valhalla, I'm pretty sure Valhalla was absolutely heartbroken, Danley.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it is what it is. You got to fight for your opportunities.
Every point counts.
Every point counts. And, you know, it was by those kill points that they finally managed to rise up to the top. So good on ORV Tyrants, but the battle is just not over just yet. Obviously, we're looking for that #1 spot. But I guess to a certain degree, it will be easy to strategize your way there because it's not a single day of grand finals. It's a double day of grand finals. So 12 rounds in total.
Yeah, it's so for anyone that doesn't really watch competitive Free Fire, the fact that we have a 2-day grand final is a big deal for these teams. We'll talk about this a little bit later on though, because we of course need to show the prize pool, what the teams are playing for today. So we did always talk about the top 6 getting a direct invite, but if you play well today, you are going to take home some money as well, right? You've got $3,000 for first place, which is a big sum of money for some of these teams. And if you don't get first place, you're going to get $2,000 in second, $1,000 for third, $600 for fourth. 5th and 6th will take home $500. 7th and 8th will take home $400. 9th and 10th will take home $300. 11th and 12th will take home $200. And then the teams that didn't qualify for today still were able to take home $100. So everyone that played over the course of these weeks were able to take something home, at least $100.
Absolutely right. And it's just so exciting to see the currency that denotes the prize pool, because I'm Malaysian and the teams in the competition at the moment that have made it through to the grand finals are from Malaysia and the Philippines. So the Singaporean dollar versus our currency, I love being paid in SGD. And I'm pretty sure the teams love the exact same too, Natalie.
Yep. Now here's the point system we're going to be playing with for these next 2 days. As really, it's business as usual here, right? You've got your 12 points for that booyah, 9 points for second place, 8 points for third, and as you go down, you're going to be getting less and less points. You've got the donuts for teams that unfortunately end up in 11th and 12th, and of course we have that 1 point that's going to be going to every kill. So we already saw during the group stage how important those kill points are. Every kill counts. It's high risk, but high reward.
Oh, yeah, absolutely right. And, you know, the one difference between the Snapdragon Pro Series as you know, in comparison to the official circuit under Garena directly right now is the fact that there's no revival system turned on for the Snapdragon Pro Series. And that really changes the meta of competition out there. And it makes it so much more difficult for the existing pro teams because they're so used to going out there, you know, guns blazing, taking all of that risk. And now at the Pro Series that's offered here by Snapdragon, you cannot get a little bit too daring from the early stages, right? But looking at the map schedule here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, once again, 6 matches. We start off at Bermuda, we hop into Kalahari for map number 2, followed by Purgatory for game number 3, and then rinse and repeat until we end the day, Danley.
Yeah, not just the end of the day, but we end the weekend, right? So we're looking at 12 maps. Now going back onto the point of the fact that these teams are getting 2 play days for the grand finals, this might be a bit of a shell shock for some teams, right? Because we're so used to having single day grand finals.
Correct.
So now we have the potential of a team getting a comeback on day 2.
Correct, yeah.
So grand finals, it was a little bit, I would say single day grand finals are probably very risky for some teams because once you mess up for those first couple games, it's almost impossible to come back and grab the crown. But with the 2-day grand final, anything goes.
Absolutely right. It's not really the first day jitters, but it's the grand finals jitters. And if you are for the very first time making it to this stage, then you're probably going to be struggling just a little bit. There is that possibility, but that recovery on day number 2, that's what we hope some of these teams show us out there on the battlefield. Absolutely. AKO Ultraman, this is the lineup by Lemon. He is your in-game leader, the Axel, X-Roy, as well as Too Fast. AKO Ultraman currently are the best team in the competition. With the Axel being one of the strongest slayers out there. 36 kills just in the league stages, Danny.
I mean, look at them. They've game faces on. They've got their phones. They're ready to go. If anything, this is absolutely a team you have to look out for because their in-game stats are phenomenal. They ended up in first place over the course of the group stage. And I think they basically won in every regard. They got the most kills. They got the most placement points. So if there's a team to look out for, it's absolutely AKO Ultraman. Now, next team on the board, we do have Divine. They did come in and looking pretty good, AJ.
Absolutely, right? And I wonder if or not Team Divine, the name is a play on the name of Mr. D himself, one of the biggest superstars of Free Fire in Malaysia. Exactly, Mr. Divine, right? So, Mr. D, I'm pretty sure he is the captain of the squad. Ajimbu, Shura, Zen OP, Miro, Newbie, these are all the veteran names within the scene in itself. Now, this can be a good thing, this can be a bad thing, because like I said, the rule set under Garena directly far differs from what we have at the Snapdragon Pro Series, which might just throw these players off a little bit of their playstyle. But it doesn't seem to be affecting them on the battlefield just yet, Danley. In the second spot.
Look at the glasses too. These guys mean business, right? They're totally chill. They're saying, it's okay, we've got it. It's grand finals. You got to look good doing it. So why not?
I mean, I love the confidence, but the last time I saw Mr. D just get a little bit too confident, we saw a huge dip in performance. But you know, that was in the past, right? Because clearly with Divine being in that second spot, Mr. D alongside the full squad have found their true momentum once again. And this is squad number 3, the one and only GM Remy with Ritus, Fura, Aguila, Ramiel, as well as Unknown. The Filipino team, but owned by a Malaysian. GM Remy is actually a very popular guy in the esports scene in Malaysia, and I was sharing this on broadcast the other day. He was the very first guy that gave me my first shoutcasting opportunity.
You must be so happy to see him here. Both of you are doing the exact same event.
But I gave him a shout out. I said, your team better perform because I'm going to call it as it is. I mean, I love you, bro. But they better not make any mistakes. But then again, you know, we have been seeing these boys for a long, long time now. Once again, veterans within the Free Fire esports scene, each and every single one of these players from the side of Philippines, they've shown their tenacity out there on the battlefield. And there's a reason why they are in the third spot, right? We look usually for that golden balance between the placement points as well as the kill points, and this is one of the teams that can deliver out there on the battlefield. And with the leaderboard reset and 12 matches to go, I'm pretty sure they can make a huge statement in this 2-day of grand finals.
Looking very cozy as well on that couch. They got a blanket as well. Well, I mean, some people do play better when they're comfortable and they just feel like they're on the couch at home, right? But there's different players, different spokes for different folks.
Correct. But that on top of the fact that they are all together in the exact same place.
Yes.
You know, so many times now we have seen players playing in their individual spots at home. I mean, yes, partially due to the pandemic, but now that things have recovered, it is highly encourageable that these teams all sit down in the exact same spot, because it makes such a huge impact when it comes to their communication, their chemistry out there on the battlefield. Yes, you may say that, you know, any forms of communication, regardless of the app you use, might have zero latency and stuff like that. But it's so different, right? Like from having your teammate right beside you screaming at you, bro, he's right behind you, versus just hearing that in your head.
I'd be a little bit worried about that, right? Because you would think, like, wouldn't you want to be quiet and let them focus? Everyone's different. Everyone's different.
It is. I mean, I don't know if you've seen these boys play. They can get really, really noisy, right? I mean, not as noisy as our observers who have already been practicing. They've been following all of the plays in our rehearsal just moments ago. They are ready to show us exactly what they've got. So shout out to the observers for the Snapdragon Pro Series as well. Hopefully we get to catch some of those hot action out there on the battlefield that we'll never be able to forget, because this is where, you know, memories are truly made, Adley.
I love the fact that you're trying to positively jinx the production team, right? Just to make sure, like, you're going to try and jinx them to get all those really juicy kills. Because to be honest, right, there can be a lot of stuff happening in Free Fire. And of course, the first map has to be Bermuda, right? I would consider it the noisiest map. A lot of action happens right from the get-go. So, I mean, I love opening up Bermuda because it's where the energy is. Everyone gets a good feel. Everyone's comfortable on Bermuda. Compared to Kalahari, where it may be some crazy stuff happens in Kalahari too, but it's sometimes a bit of a topsy-turvy map depending on where that circle ends up.
Absolutely true. But we have seen some of those teams really, you know, keep up with the meta of Kalahari these days. They know how important those grappling hooks are, because when you want to maneuver around and deal with the terrain shifts from compound to compound, without that grappling hook, it's pretty much a dead game for you, right? But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys, skills, if you guys want to be a part of this conversation as well, don't forget you can share your thoughts with us. Share the hashtag Snapdragon Pro Series and get a chance to be featured on this stream. We are looking out in all of those comment sections section. So make sure you throw that hashtag in there as well.
Yeah, hopefully we can answer some questions. If you want to ask us anything, please do. But of course, if you are in our Twitch channel, make sure you throw in your predictions. Who do you think is going to be winning this first round? We are going to be jumping into Bermuda with our top 12 teams. Well, who do you think is going to win?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think AKO Ultramen.
Okay, so you're just going to go straight for the favorites.
I mean, they are the favorites for a reason, right? They've shown us out there on the battlefield that can get both the job done in terms of fighting that final circle, in terms of getting the Booyah, the team that has the most Booyah in the competition so far, 4 to their name, as well as the kills just to show off on the battlefield, right? So I kind of think that, you know, they will be able to pop off, but let's see exactly what we have in the first matchup here, Natalie. As all of the teams have hopped on in here, finding their own compounds for themselves. It doesn't seem like we have a aggressive hot drop coming through from any one of them.
No, because it is the grand final, but...
Yeah.
You know, some of these teams, I don't blame them wanting to play safe for day one. Even though you've played against the majority of these teams, you really don't want to end up in 11th and 12th on that first day, right? Because
Absolutely.
no points, if you get no kills as well, that's nothing.
Yeah.
And you're basically playing with a handicap.
Yeah, and this statement might be critical, but you might as well not be in the grand finals if you haven't done your homework just yet, right? I mean, because 4 days off league stage, not only is it important that during the league stage, you pick up some good kills, you pick up the Booyahs for yourself, but you also do your homework. You also find out what is the best strategy to survive the longest possible. And I feel like that's exactly what all of the teams have clearly done in here. Not sharing a hot drop, not sharing one of those compounds shows how serious these teams are out there on the battlefield. And once again, without the revival system active, Danielle, it seems like they do not want to take any chances out there at all.
Yeah, so it might be a little bit of a slow game to start the day, but
Yeah.
we've got to wait and see who gets comfortable, who might start to try and play with that momentum. Oh, looks like we do have somebody that is going to be under a little bit of pressure. It's going to be Roy from AKO. And he doesn't seem to be in a good spot either. Oh, but we actually have a player down already. K9, they've lost Superman.
Yeah, Superman, unfortunately, will not be able to fly right back through into the matchup because, once again, no revival system whatsoever, but the trade can come back through. It looks like Roy was the one that eliminated Superman from the equation, and now he is flanked by a player on his right-hand side, the one and only Normain. Blank can't really catch him off on the right-hand side just yet because of the approaching backup on the side of AKO, but Payne is trying to get that all sorted out. But he is holding on to quite an open ground as well, Natalie. Perhaps not the most advisable, but there you go. He has got this tower to, I guess, use as a fort in case he does get attacked. But Anxiety, on the other hand, they spot the players of Orange Esports.
Oh, Orange Esports. So they actually decided to go for that clock tower. I'm wondering who has the better point of view here. I'd say Orange are probably okay. They've got the defender's advantage. It's going to be pretty difficult for Anxiety to sort of move. But we do need to... Oh, it looks like we actually have a knock there. Uh-oh, that's going to be Rosso going down for Orange Esports.
Yeah, Orange Esports not really taking this fight well, but Rosso was a little bit too far from the rest of his players. And once again, you know, this is where the point of being in the official leagues is not really going to help you out too much. Yes, you are a team that is capable of getting to the pro leagues, but you get used to the rules and regulations there. And, you know, you get to revive your team members there at the Snapdragon Pro Series. It's a GGWP. So Orange Esports now need to find a way to recover, and the only way to recover from such a mishap is to pick up a couple of extra kills, stay absolutely safe, and move away from that compound. I mean, as it is, you're already down one man, right? Do you stay and, you know, take a defensive fight, or do you back away? Orange Esports with the clear right decision being made as they disengage.
Yeah, and also just to our new viewers, we do need to remind all of you that we do have names switched on. So these kills, these teams can see who they are getting these kills on, and it's going to be some pretty... It's very important information to know that, okay, we've killed this player, it's this team. Do we back out? Are we confident enough to take them on?
Yeah, absolutely correct. And Anxiety at this stage of time, Orange Esports, I don't think they want to take on a team like Anxiety. I mean, we've seen their firepower out there on the battlefield already. So once again, great decision making on the side of Orange Esports, not really taking all of those risky maneuvers very early up in the matchup. But who's next? Kalahari seem to be flying through the air, evading the corners of those blue zone that comes hunting in here for them. And as they reposition, it seems like they are going to be out in the open lands. ORV on the other hand, on the right hand side of Orange Esports, out of the pen, straight into the fire. ORV Esports might just be able to gatekeep these players. Jabat spots one player of his own from the back, tries to heal him up just a little bit, and just as you thought that ORV might be able to catch him off guard, Goku slips away. ORV had the perfect opportunity there.
Yeah, it looks like on the other side of the map, another player on K9 actually goes down, so I do believe that team is now down to 2 players. That's really painful this early on. I mean, what do you expect it to do? We are going to switch perspective here, though. We do have EVC coming in with vehicles, but they're going to pass Alpha. But the question is, Alpha sees them. Do they want to do anything about it? It seems like they don't want to.
I don't think anybody wants to do anything right now.
Everyone's paranoid, right?
Yes, because of that revival system. I mean, okay, the first thing I know for sure these players are going to be doing is putting in a petition for the revival system to be turned on.
Bring it back.
For Season 2. Because, you know, it just gives you that extra flavor. It gives you that extra spice. You know, it takes the adrenaline up to a whole other level when it comes pumping through all of those circles, right? But of course, this gives a beautiful balance to the game as well, seeing these players played as safe as possible and then end up in situations where they make very important decisions. And you see Eva continue here, trying to disengage just a little bit. Obviously, they don't know exactly who's in front of them just yet, Danalee.
They
will find out soon.
The question is it going to be the squatters getting evicted or the ones moving in getting evicted?
It's turning out into a party right now. ORV didn't move. Orange Esports clearly just stuck to their spot. Everybody's just staying put, man. Everybody just wants to get that final zone, to get that final circle. But you know exactly how Free Fire works. The longer these players evade each other, the bigger the chaos later on. Jay-Z popping out 4 glue walls back to back to evade the players of WS. Let's see if or not this one comes true. He just needs a little bit of assistance here. No grenades to work with as well. Too slow behind the tree. Gets tagged up by Batman. Batman puts one under the ground, and hard to get. Have got that backup.
Oh, but are they going to be able to continue with this? Because we do know in some circumstances Hard to Get can get a little bit too excited. So we'll see if they're going to be able to do it. Insane is down to his last glue. Oh, he's got 4, but he's down.
Oh, Wasik Philippines loses yet another player, all thanks to the grenade from Batman. Too slow fires right back. It's a 2v2. Jay-Z as well as Avery's taking on Invoker and Too Slow, working around those glue walls. And Wasik Philippines focusing on picking up their own players, maintaining the pressure with a game of numbers. What a strike by Invoker. They've got the numbers, and Hard to Get are out in the 12th spot. What a setup by Wasik.
I've jinxed it. I swear I've jinxed it. I said the team gets a little excited at times, and it absolutely happened. Oh my gosh, more 6. I mean, that was beautiful play, right? They played very defensively. They had the glue walls. Hard to Get, maybe just getting a bit too excited. They saw the knocks and they just thought, let's go for it. Let's try and go for these kills. They just couldn't follow through.
Yeah, in my heart, I kind of felt like Hard to Get was going to get eliminated in that spot already because of the panic from Jay-Z. I mean, the guy popped out 4 glue walls back to back.
Hold on, AJ.
You're cool, calm and collected. You don't do stuff like that. Who's next? Let's see if Who's Next Kalahari Philippines can take out the players right in front of them. Eva continue. What a nade by the Grenadier. McRory himself takes Basic out of the equation. Yadok fires right back. McRory is down. And this is a huge blow for Eva continue as they step on out. Hawkeye, the timing is going to be perfect. What a glue wall from Hawkeye himself. Barricades himself in. Hawkeye survives. Steps on out, but Daewoo sorts him out. Let's go put down onto the ground as well. Eva continue. Eats up everyone. Oh my lord! Divine from the back now, and Eva continue gets eliminated. Divine, they played their timing absolutely dope. They sat down inside a factory. They didn't want to engage, but when they saw that kill feed, they knew they had to hop into action. And although we did see the team before them pick up those kills, Eva continue could not sustain. That backup was just way too solid. Divine just a little too solid with the strategy, Danalee.
I mean, thank God I've got my dentist on speed dial. They had to help me take my mouth off the floor. That was an incredible fight, but incredibly messy, right? But the fact
Messy
that...
for everyone except Divine, right? Because they stayed out of it and strategy played to its best right there.
The benefit of being able to squat in a compound and have
Yeah.
nobody be able to expect you coming in, right?
Absolutely.
Like, that's the beauty of vulturing. You come in, everyone's already injured, they're focused on each other. Who's going to be expecting you to come in knocking on the back door? Nobody.
And you also have to take the initiative, right? And Divine, they did exactly that. They
Yes.
they heard the gunshots, first of all. They saw the kill feed. They understood that, oh, goodness me, Eva continues right outside. And this is such a huge
They're seeing
opportunity.
the knocks. Yeah.
Yeah, because if Eva continues eating everyone up, which also means they are losing a lot of their precious resources that they have already gathered. So attacking them at that very final point would be perfect. And now as Legion try to climb up this hill, they get struck down. Seika down on the ground. It is Anxiety who knocks him out of the air. It is the AC-80 on attack. Mickey's going to be in a lot of trouble as well. Chessman now, the one and only. And Saskia gets put down onto the ground. Lei manages to back away for the time being, and Mickey holds back. But here comes that ice grenade to force Mickey away from his defense. And Mother Nature isn't going to be helping out much more here.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be able to really do anything. I'm surprised that they decided to play very
smart.
defensively here because they're trying to play outside the circle,
Yep.
which is this an indicator that the team is just not confident with
Lei.
their inventory? It seems like it.
It most definitely seems like it, right? Also partially due to the loots that they pick up in the initial parts of the game as well.
Yeah.
Baba secures the third kill in a row. I'm pretty sure Chessman's not too glad with that because he was the one that was helping the team tag everyone up initially, but couldn't actually get any knocks out of that. And I don't know if you know this, Danley, Chessman's actually Jaboiwa, and you know exactly how tenacious he is out there on the battlefield.
Wow. But you know what's going to be crazy? We're going to start getting some kills, AJ, because this
yeah.
circle is getting small.
An AKO Ultraman now getting pressured by Wasik Philippines from afar. One quick knock onto Roy, but the backup is going to be there. An AKO Ultraman in a full squad, but they all stick together. Have to be careful with that sort of a setup. One quick grenade in that finds you down on the ground, all of the players. But no other squads are near them to take that opportunity just yet. Anxiety, on the other hand, meet the players of K9 Esports.
Yeah, very risky actually for them to try and go for those shots because they've revealed their position.
Correct,
Teams
yeah.
know where they are, so we'll see if they're going to be able to prep themselves coming into this circle because, I mean, they knocked on the door a little bit too early there. The party hasn't started yet, and it's like, oh, you're early.
AKO Ultraman, Wasik Philippines, as they back away. The flank is coming through from the players, one after the other. Who's going to strike first as AKO now just tries to tease the players of Wasik out of their defensive position. Here comes that grenade launcher as well. Hasn't found any players just yet. Invoker pulls out the Mag 7, but backs away. Leaves too slow to get sprayed down onto the ground. That's a terrible setup by Wasik, and they blow themselves up. Tacular, not spectacular, and Wasik Philippines gets taken out in the 9th spot.
Oh my gosh, that wall. I'm sorry, bro, you're not playing basketball. This is Free Fire.
Yeah, that was unfortunately a bad setup by Wasik Philippines. They had exactly what they needed to take down the whole of AKO Ultraman. Once again, AKO Ultraman, they were all sticking together. One good nade could have done the job.
But look at that
and
circle.
He had the grenade launcher in his hands, and that was just such a wasted opportunity.
Yeah,
and
so
I do
look
agree.
at this new circle. So very interesting circle indeed because K9, they have basically just tried to play very stealthy this game, and it looks like it's in their advantage. Basically, the ball's in their court, right? But they're only down to 2 players because we did see 2 players get eliminated earlier on.
Correct.
So I'm wondering, the fact that they played very quiet, could we maybe see K9 take this?
I would love to say that K9 can take it, right? But, you know, in the recent times, K9's performance hasn't really been as, as, I guess, dope as I want it to be. Thank you,
Interesting
Yado,
choice of
for
words.
picking up, for giving me that word on the fly. But AKO Ultraman, they look like the ones who are solid to take this, mainly because they've got the firepower and they've got the numbers. K9 Esports, on the other hand, they got tagged up just a little bit too late. And yes, you are correct. GM Remy now firing at the players of AKO Ultraman as well as Anxiety. They stir the hornet's nest. AKO Ultraman fire right back at Anxiety, but Toby, AC-80 headshot, too fast. That was just way too slow, but it worked. Oh my Lord, grenade! Get out of there, boy! Kano! Almost did a boo-boo.
Oh, Kano! Oh my goodness. I think that would have been a highlight for the ages if that actually connected
Lord.
onto him. nerves. I'm going to say nerves there, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
circle's really small. We have 25 players alive on Bermuda of all maps.
Absolutely, and Orange Esports are hitting back strong. They were a little bit down in the numbers earlier on, but they did sustain all the way in towards this second last circle here and taking the attack one after the other. But Anxiety closing in on finishing off the players of K9 Esports. And as K9 Esports back away, Orange Esports might pick them off one after the other. Which defensive spot will they find for themselves?
It's a very awkward circle for K9. I mean, they're in the center, but what do you really have to work with, right? Like the compound's on the edge, you've got these little tiny buildings. So we'll still keep going here because, looks like ORV Tyrants are going to be eliminated, their last player alive. So we are down to 6 teams here, AJ. It's going to be basically king of the hill here for K9. Can they land these shots?
It looks like they are landing the shots, and Payne has got that AC-80 in hand. If you are accurate with your shots, a 2 back-to-back connection with those bullets will give you that extra bit of damage, which is exactly what Payne needs in this situation.
But they used their grenades earlier on, so they don't have grenades.
Too early, right? And that's one of the weak points of K9 Esports. Not really saving up the lethals for that endgame gameplay. Jabat with a beautiful knockdown onto Normain. Here comes that ice grenade as well to make sure that pickup is not going to be possible. But they still do push through, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And they drop the beat as well. And Payne gets that extra bit of assistance from the beat. But from the back, Fury getting taken down. Orange Esports shuts down Payne out of the equation. And just as anticipated, Orange Esports are the ones to pick up the pieces. K9 Esports, their defense crumbles, but GM Remy on the other hand, surviving the circle, getting into a little bit extra trouble, meets the players, but gets knocked down either way. GM Remy taken out through the combo of AKO as well as Divine.
Oh man, we are running out of space. And look at Orange Esports' position after eliminating that player. Oh, AKO?
And I think AKO might has just been eliminated.
They're
but
gone.
with 13 kills so far to their name, I believe they have done just enough to keep that #1 spot.
I don't know. I don't think they can.
Let's see. Orange
Anxiety
Esports.
is so close. I think Anxiety are going to be able to take this.
Let's see if or not they can finish this off, because Anxiety, not only do they have a lot of points up there on the board, they also have quite a good location to play with right now, but not the center of the circle. Have to step on out. Orange Esports are the first one to rage on. K9 Esports gets taken out of the equation thanks to Divine. Divine now with the backstab. Orange Esports out of it, and Anxiety finally stepping into the final battle. 2 teams remain. Anxiety, can they nail this? Divine get taken down one after the other and out of the equation. Anxiety-stricken victory, but a booyah. They score for themselves, Danley.
Oh my goodness. The fact that Anxiety was able to take this first round, we saw this team being extremely proactive. They were very confident in their moves. And for them to get the booyah, firstly, not surprised. They look fantastic. But the fact that AKO suddenly got eliminated, that one was a shocker.
I mean, it had to happen at the end of the day, right? Because of the number of teams, because of the number of players that were still surviving into that final circle. It was just chaos all around, and they had to pick and choose their battles. But even though they did a phenomenal job of picking those engagements, winning a majority of those engagements, the numbers game finally caught up, and they ran out of luck, right? But 13 kills in that 5th spot. I believe they can still
Top 3.
manage, the podium finish, but it's a good start either way. Anxiety beating the odds. I mean, they finished off the league stages in the 6th spot, mind you, and that basically means absolutely nothing, because we start off with a brand new slate in Danley, and with a victory of the day, it starts things off good.
That was a good match as well. I was expecting it to be a little bit slower, but I do like the fact that things did pick up a little bit, and chaos towards those last couple circles. Like, people weren't dying originally, which is really strange on Bermuda. Yeah. And the fact that there was it was a cloud of teams coming into this final circles. Oh, it was chaotic, but wow, I'm really looking forward to this next matchup, because we are going to be going into Kalahari next.
Absolutely.
Now, Kalahari, there's more room, but these teams, you can see who's bloodthirsty so far.
I guess there's more room in terms of elevation to play with, right? But in terms of,
I mean, looting as well. You've got more places to try and get that loot safely, rather than on Bermuda, where you think, oh, every corner has got somebody, you know?
Absolutely correct, right? But I feel like it might just be as slow as game number 1. So? Because you can't revive your players. And I think Orange Esports kind of found that out the really, really tough way by getting involved in a very early engagement. But I mean, kudos to the team. They managed to make it all the way to the final circle with the 3 players they remained on with, because they took their chances once and they didn't want to make that mistake after that, right?
Right.
They disengaged from the very first battle, and that's exactly what we want to see in the Snapdragon Pro Series finals, right? For day 1 as well as day 2. Teams being extremely careful as they understand the importance of these points. Let's take a look and see exactly how many points they managed to pick up.
Oh boy, this is only round 1, AJ. We've got 5 more matches today and 6 more tomorrow. So what we're seeing right now, this is not locked in stone. This is not the complete score, but
and the scores are also a little wrong, I believe, because
unless the graphic in-game was wrong.
no, there's no way they.
But that's the thing. I don't
was
think
wrong.
it is.
Yeah.
So
I think they got 13 kills, AKO Ultraman, so they should be able to take a leap above Divine.
We'll wait for this to get amended.
Yeah.
So to all of our viewers right now, don't take the graphic. You know what? Just whatever you see on the screen, don't. That's not what it is. Okay, it's not. This is incorrect, unfortunately. But we do know Anxiety got the booyah, but we don't know if they're the team that actually are going to be sitting in first place. Because remember, right?
Yeah.
We did look at AKO. They had 13 kills,
Yeah.
which. Where are the
So-
13 kills?
So that gives them 19, because I think the placement points are correct here. So that puts AKO Ultraman at 19 points.
Unless the one we're looking at in-game is the total points that they took home. But it can't be, because they died at the 13 and that was it.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Goodness
We'll get
knows.
this checked.
Yeah, we will double check this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. But either way, Anxiety, they did manage to get that booyah for themselves through all of that chaos. And I expect that chaos to go on and continue as teams be extremely careful because they cannot revive each other.
All right, now, of course, I do believe we're going to go for a quick break very soon. But before that, we do need to very quickly mention Elite Gaming.
Yep. Snapdragon Elite Gaming, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. When winning matters, that's when you know you gotta pick it up. And if you want that extra little bit of boost, Monster Energy allows you to unleash the beast that is within and in your hearts as well out there on the battlefield. And if you guys want to find out exactly how you can be a part of this show, if you can be a part of this party, be sponsored, and potentially win some of our crazy prize pools, hop on into our Discord.
Yeah, come talk to us if you have any questions as to whether anything about the tournament or anything in the future. Do let the admins know. They're more than happy to help out in regards to any inquiries or questions. But AJ, I do believe we are going to go for a quick break.
Yes.
Let these teams prepare for this next matchup. It's Kalahari. It is a pretty tough map for some of these teams, so we'll have to see what happens. But for now, we'll come back in 5 minutes, and hopefully the match is going to be equally, if not more exciting. See you after this.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and Monster Energy.
Say, oh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, oh, us now. What you gonna do when we pull up on you? Like, oh, touchdown. You already know what it is when we come through. Oh, shut down. Shut down. Oh, give me that crown. I need that now, right now. Oh, don't make a sound. This is my time. You hear the crowd. We need that rain. Me and my team. Deja vu. This here
Welcome back to the Free Fire Snapdragon Pro Series Open Finals for Season 1. My name's AJ. I'm the Mustacho down here with the one and only Dadley, bringing you guys this hot broadcast. And game number 1 was hot indeed, with the players trying to be as careful as possible at the start, and then all of chaos ensuing.
Funnily enough, you mentioned hot, because I think it's going to get a little warm in here, you know, because we are transitioning over to Kalahari. It's the sweltering hot desert.
Yes.
It's very open. It's very barren. So we might be in for something a little bit slower, right? Everyone hiding behind those compounds, not wanting to get sniped. But I do believe we have a interview, AJ.
Absolutely. It will be carried out by the Mastercasters. This is an interview segment with Anxiety. Let's check it out.
So, Toby, I just want to ask a question. So, you guys managed to get your first booyah in the grand final. So, how does it feel?
Yeah, we're happy with the opening round, but we're not going to celebrate yet because we have a lot to go through, and there's a lot of games left. So yeah.
I see.
We're happy.
Jadi apa yang Toby katakan sebentar tadi, ni baru permulaan, jadi santai-santai.
Saya baru sebut tadi macam mana pula, kali dia dah jawab dah sebenarnya.
Alright. So Toby, I just want to know. So in your opinion, other than Anxiety, which team might be going to give you a hard time?
Ultraman and Divine.
Very interesting. Is there any particular reason?
No, they're good players.
They play quite well. Alright. So apa yang Toby katakan sebentar tadi, yang selain daripada pasukannya yang berbahaya adalah AKO, Ultraman dan juga Divine, yang mana mereka ada gameplay yang menarik. Alright. So so for Anxiety, previously you guys only have one booyah in the standing. So in total grand final, how many booyah that you guys think that you guys can get?
Many as we can. I think we can get at least 3.
Oh, 3 booyah. Alright, Toby, do you have anything to say to your fans or to your family or to any of the teams out there?
Good luck and thanks for the support, and yeah, that's all.
Okay, alright. Okay, thank you so much, Toby.
Yeah.
And have a good luck.
Wow. Maksudnya kita nak cerita.
Interesting. I mean, one of the answers we were kind of expecting, right? Like,
Yeah, like,
who are you looking out for?
How many booyahs do you want? As many as we can take, Ikuto. As many as we can take. If we can take 12 booyahs, we want 12 booyahs. That's exactly what Toby wants to say. But Toby was like, no, it's okay. It's okay. I'm going to show it to them on the battlefield. It was a good play. In fact, it was a great play coming through from Anxiety. But this is one of those teams, as they used to be known in the past as PXG Radicals, could always perform during the league stages. But at the grand finals is where we see a little bit of a dip in performance, right?
Yeah.
But this time around, at the league stage, we saw that dip in performance coming through from this team. And we see them rising up to the occasion at the grand finals. I like this flip.
So they're trying to invert it, right? It's like, oh, just do average during the group stage. Save the good stuff for the grand final. It makes sense. I can understand if this is a strategy that they're executing. But let's be real. I think this is not something you sort of anticipate. It just happens.
Correct. Yeah.
But we do have the stats on the screen here for that round that we just saw. So for Anxiety, they took home 6 kills, which totaled to 4,947 damage. So they were a pretty big part of these team fights.
I mean, a decent amount
They
of
were not
damage.
sniping headshots. Like, that's something certain.
But here's the shocking part, right? Survival time was 16 minutes and 38 seconds. Now, the average time of survival on Bermuda is about 17 minutes. For a matchup that was moving so slow at the start, it ended pretty early, right? I'm shocked with that.
Well, you know, they live. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
they won. They got the booyah. They're Gucci. But something we do need to talk about Anxiety. So they did finish middle of the pack, I guess, for the teams that qualified. I think something that is a little bit interesting is if we do look at the stats. of the teams that finished in the middle of the pack, they did average higher in kills. They're not a team that was really there for placements, but they did focus more on kills. And I think this is something that's going to be very important during the grand final, because we have seen how those kills can really shift the game.
Yes.
And you can try and rely on placements, but we've seen people get punished.
I agree, and that you just pointed out their weakness during the league stage as well. They were doing really well with the kills, but they were getting a little excited a little bit too early in the matchups, right? So when you get eliminated a little too early, you lose some of your greatest chess pieces like Chessman himself.
Yeah.
You don't get to take those long-range snipes, and your pressure in that final circle drastically drops. And I feel like at the grand finals, this is exactly where they want to make that adjustment. Hence the disengagement from as many as possible, all of those fights. And they didn't really make it through to the final circle as the highest killer of the lobby, right? And I feel like that switch in approach seems to have gotten them the booyah. Let's see if they can maintain the consistency, though. For all of you
Your
guys.
favorite word,
Absolutely.
consistency.
Can you guys consistently throw those hashtags of Snapdragon Pro Series into the comment section so that you can engage us in your conversations and get a chance to be featured on stream?
Yeah, and also to all of our viewers that are on our Twitch channel, if you haven't already, submit your prediction for this next matchup. We are jumping into Kalahari. Who do you think is going to be winning this round? Now, I'm not going to jinx you again, AJ. I'm going to sort of let you have your moment. You know, you can let me know afterwards if your prediction's correct.
I assumed AKO Ultraman would be able to get the booyah. They got
I told
the final
you not to
circle.
tell me, but fine.
They got the final circle, so, you know, I'm at least a little pleased with that. But let's see if or not we can see a different team, you know, kind of execute their dominance out there on the battlefield, right? Because even though there was no booyah, the players of AKO Ultraman were super aggressive. And this time around, look at Bayfront, just spreading all out, making sure they're fully looted up and making full use of this compound.
No hot drops.
Yeah.
At all. But we are seeing a couple teams really spread out, right? We've got Anxiety sort of spread out towards the southern side of the map. Then you have on the right side, you know, WNX, their whole team. I'm a little worried about this, right? You always get anxious when you see teams really spread out, because if that player gets picked off, firstly, no revives.
Correct.
Second, you've got no one to back you up, so you can't even return fire.
Yeah, but I guess the players of Who's Next Kalasak Philippines might be in a slightly safer position, you know, as opposed to Toby, who has strayed away a little too far from the rest of his pack. And although he has got a huge compound there to loot up, Legion as well as two players on the side of Who's Next Kalasak Philippines might be able to take those pot shots against him. And as you can see, Seika is moving ever so slowly towards Toby, so that doesn't spell to be the greatest of, you know, encounters early on for this player, if at all that does happen. The players of GM Remy, on the other hand, in the high-tier loot zone.
It's going to be pretty interesting, but I was wondering, okay, are they going to take the high-tier loot and maybe play aggressive? But no, it seems like they're just going to camp first and see. Let's see who we can snipe from our current position. And I mean, they did spot somebody, but no kills yet. They kind of know where someone is, though.
And ORV is the team that spotted out all of those players from the side of GM Remy. Playing that trigger discipline well, once again.
Has taken damage, though.
Not a lot of people, not a lot of people want to get super aggressive. Maybe just a couple of warning shots to show them that, hey, you know what, we are here. You know what's good for you? Yeah, exactly. Stay away. But Wasik Philippines, they're not waiting. Deco's down on the ground, and it looks like the elimination will come right back through as Invoker finds him, puts him 6 feet under. Wasik Philippines, how much more oranges can they pick from this yard? I think 3 more than Lee.
Maybe. I don't think either team is going to be giving up their compound. So Orange looking to actually commit to this. Rosso's got to be careful. Jabat's on the hill, but how much support can he really provide? Because if you're fighting inside the compound, you can't provide assistance.
And on top of that, if the players of Orange Esports take the higher ground and play this advantage, the players of AKO Ultraman can take the advantage because they are approaching this compound. They are approaching this fight as well as the third parties. Let's see if or not Wasik Philippines will be able to finish things off before Orange Esports gets caught out. Yep, you are absolutely right, Dan Lee. Orange Esports says, thank you very much. But once again, we are going to disengage after dropping a man. But out of the ban into the fire, ORV now starts firing up against the players of Orange Esports. They've got nowhere to go.
Yeah, that bunch of oranges, they spread out. They've got no backup, so there's no way they're going to be able to make that orchard.
You can't even make a decent orange juice when you pick up a single orange.
I mean, it probably depends on what kind of orange, but I think this one, it's winter. You know, oranges don't grow during winter. I guess it's the drought, actually. We're on Kalahari, but
Because was that bad orange then? You just had a worm in it or something.
No, leave them alone. I mean, they've had a really tough start, right? They've already got someone eliminated.
Twice in a row now.
Stop. We got to stop jinxing orange. We've got to let them give them a chance. But I feel really bad for them. But we are looking at a different team that did have a really rough start in that last game as well, which is K9 Esports. They had 2 players eliminated early on. And, I mean, are they next to GM Remy? Because this is not a team you want to be next to.
Most definitely not, but I believe we did see quite a good squad approaching the compound of GM Remy just moments ago. I totally forgot exactly which team that was as I was focusing on the conversation that you were building. So, I'm just going to ignore that. Oh, there you go. K9 Esports. K9 Esports.
Look
they
at this guy throwing me under the bus. I forgot my team.
Really. I saw it, and then I was like, oh, what are you saying, Gally?
I mean, maybe, do you need my glasses? You can borrow them for a bit.
No, I see well, but my short-term memory just does not do me any justice whatsoever. Anxiety, on the other hand, giving me anxiety as they split off in this buddy system, but the saving grace is going to be the fact that the players of Divine might not have the perfect angle just yet. So as Miro goes ahead to reposition, the players of Anxiety can reset all of their own defensive spots as well, but it doesn't seem to be what Barba wants. Keeping a close eye on 2 players on the side of Divine. Shura gets spotted out. What a time turner! Pulls out the glue wall as well. That time turner is going to be protecting the glue wall, but here comes the Riptide Rhythm. Shura gets easily put 6 feet under. What a play by the chessman!
Oh God, this is not where you want to be. They're basically under assault here from Anxiety, and there's basically you got cactuses. That's it.
Oh yeah.
You are hiding behind the bush. Mother Nature's... I don't even think Mother Nature's on their side.
Batman usually strikes at night, but not for Eva Continue as they have one player taken out of the equation. And what a beautiful flank from the players of Hard to Get. They bring it through the left and right, but Hard to Get loses 2 players at the very same time. Batman taken out of the equation. Jay-Z still surviving this onslaught though. Insane. He has to do a lot, but the Mag 7 in the hands of Daemoon. Daemoon comes out with the spray, but Insane has got the double barrel, and he doesn't miss. What a play by Hard to Get, but the only sacrifice of Batman was nothing too much to cry over.
No. That's not only a sacrifice, okay? Clearly they didn't pay for the licensing to use Batman in this game, so he had to be removed. But that's a big deal for Hard to Get, because I do feel Batman, he is such an important... He's an important puzzle to this team, because he does a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to that firepower. So to lose him... If you're Hard to Get, like, how do you sort of adjust, right? You've lost a big person. You don't just take out the superhero from the superhero movie.
This guy kind of made the Batman name famous in Free Fire, like, what, 4 seasons ago? He hasn't really been the most threatening superhero out there on the battlefield.
I mean, he fights with melee. What do you expect? He doesn't use a gun, so...
So hopefully, you know, with the loss of Batman, the players of Hard to Get can still get around on the battlefield. But, you know, as their name says, that's a little hard to get.
Stop. I'm dying.
Now a little harder to get without Batman, right? AKO Ultraman on the other hand. Open field maneuvering, no vehicles to play with whatsoever. And they take their chances, but they've got quite a good number of loot on themselves. So quite a number of those glue walls to play with. And this was that risk I was talking about. Open grounds, traveling. But AKO Ultraman will not be teased at all, as Hades Step maintains his trigger discipline, not wanting to give away his positioning just yet.
I love the patience, because we normally see teams, if they see someone like that just running underneath them, they just go for it.
Bang, bang.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Throw a grenade. Actually, you can't throw a grenade up there. It's a little bit too high, but yeah, I like the patience. Maybe he's waiting. Okay, if this team engages someone else, then I can go get those free shots in. Because it's much easier to punish players that are focused on something.
I mean, it sounds like really dodgy behavior out there on the battlefield, stealing kills and all. But I mean, when you don't have the revive system and when you have got very little options out there of aggression, you want to be the third party in these fights. Fura, a lot of risk being taken here on that vehicle, on that bike. He just cruises past one Divine player. None of the other Divine players spotted out there in the battlefield. Fura is showing us a little bit of stunts out there on the battlefield of Kalahari as well, showing us what the elevation can do. And in fact, this is one of the best vehicles to pick up on Kalahari, right? Because of how easy it is to control.
Yep, it's small as well, so you can really maneuver through these little tight squeezes.
Oh, hi, Zen! Hi! Funny catching you here! How about I send you back to the lobby, says Fura. Bye-bye, Zen. Divine, what was that play?
A literal drive-by, if I saw one.
Technically he didn't drive by. My lord, what am I even watching anymore? Pura, this is a beautiful play coming through. The guy just stands up on his bike as he maneuvers around. One final player from the side of Divine hasn't been taken out of the equation just yet. Miro was waiting with the Mag 7, but the players of Anxiety now running over the compound of Legion as they take them down one after the other. Seika out of the equation already, and it doesn't look like the other players of Legion are going to be able to give any sort of backup whatsoever as they are just a little too far away. And AKO Ultraman is coming through to take out the remaining players of Legion.
But could this be punished though? Like, wouldn't Anxiety maybe consider
This
just jumping
grenade,
into AKO?
this grenade, kaboom! Oh, what a time turner! And it will be the players also playing that ice grenade just to tease the players.
Axel got knocked down. Axel's dead.
Oh,
Anxiety, they're firing back.
Yeah, Anxiety just helping out the players of Legion, but too fast now. Very quickly bringing out the grenade launcher. Gets the first pop. X-Roy gets a little too excited. And as AKO Ultraman tries to feed on the players of Legion, tries to take away the kills that Anxiety first started picking off, Anxiety gets a little mad. Anxiety takes down the players of AKO Ultraman one after the other. And now the only team that can save the players of AKO Ultraman from the preying Anxiety will be K9 Esports, who are closing in one after the other. Toby, AC80 once again. Saskia this time gets taken down onto the ground, but Mickey will be able to pick him right back up, and AKO backs away from this engagement. They say, I've done and dusted with Anxiety. I cannot sacrifice anything else.
That was so expensive. They came in with 4 players. They lost 2. They used all their grenades as well to try and get those 2 players remaining in the tower. So I think if you're AKO, you've got to be kicking yourself. Yes, I understand if you want to fully commit, but you have to understand, like, there's always a limit, there's always a price. And once it's too expensive, you've got to back out.
I mean, they saw a low-hanging fruit. They just didn't see Anxiety behind that fruit.
That was not a low-hanging fruit.
The double vectors in the hands of Too Slow, though. Warsic Philippines getting the job done against Orange Esports. Rosso, X, Goku, you name them, I'll take them. Orange Juice all fully drank up. Warsic Philippines with that vitamin C in their veins are moving on to the next battle. But they have to be careful. Here comes ORE to storm the party.
Oh, are they going to be punished for this? So far.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Jampong with the initial knock coming through here. And Hades Step has got the elevation right on top of them to spot them all out. Jampong continues the annihilation, or at the very least the pressure from this higher ground. And the players of ORV will try to punish Warsic Philippines. But Warsic Philippines using the elevation to their advantage instead. The closer they get, the harder it is going to be for the players on the higher ground to spot them out. But Hades Step has got the left-hand flank from the higher ground as well. You get away from 2 players and you will spot the other side. Jump on with a Mag 7 this time round. ORV has got Warsic Philippines stuck in a small corner.
But the thing is, even though they're on that low ground, can they finish off Warsic Philippines, right? Because we do know that now they're going to have to play with all those walls, the time turners. They do get the drops. It looks like it's going to go in favor of ORV. But are there any other teams nearby? It doesn't look like it. So ORV, can they close this out cleanly?
Oh, Upnoy now taking himself out of the equation, helping out Warsic Philippines just for a little bit there. Warsic Philippines has got an opportunity to recover as Upnoy gets picked right up. Warsic Philippines hasn't managed to recover at all. They do not have any medkits to run with, which means the Filipinos are in a lot of trouble. ORV finishes off Too Slow down on the ground. Jampong takes out Takura with a spectacular shot, and ORV continues to gatekeep the players of the other side, and it will be Invoker for the side of Warsic Philippines with so little health left on him, trying his best to survive, and K9 Esports helps them out by shutting down ORV. What a play!
Too Slow, he is still alive, but he's so
oh
low.
My lord!
Oh my gosh! I think if you're Warsic, you just got to say, that right there is a win. Yes, the whole team just gets knocked out.
Yeah, you got it. I mean, if you're Warsic Philippines, you're just smiling at K9 Esports right now, right? Thank you for the extra 1 point that you have gifted us from the placements. And in the 9th spot, Warsic Philippines gets taken out, all thanks to K9 Esports. So that 1 extra point will go quite the long way. But K9 Esports now, they've overstayed their welcome. They've got this high ground, but the next circle is going to leave them high and dry.
Oh, we've got 2 big teams here. We've got Anxiety and WNX. Now, we know that they are very... We're basically looking at the top 4 team here, right? This team was explosive at the gate during week 1.
Yeah.
But during the grand finals, I mean, they've been okay. But are we going to see that explosion again? Are we going to see them be a major factor?
Oh. Let's spot exactly that, right? Whether or not there will be an explosive round this time around, as well as GM Remy now makes it towards the center point of this circle. Divine Miro still alive and kicking hard to get, finds it hard to survive out there on the battlefield as AKO Ultraman still survives with the two-player pressure, making this a 2v2 as well as hard to get repositions. AKO Ultraman will lose the opportunity to pick up more of those kill points and have to reposition with hard to get this time with the opportunity to gatekeep them.
Yeah, and we are looking at one of the more painful circles as well. So you really do not want to be too close to that circle as it starts creeping, and you want to preemptively go in so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So far, though, hard to get. They're trying to get a couple of those pot shots in. It's really down to Insane and Co. to try and redeem this team. And JC!
Hard to get was chipping in at the players of GM Remy. AKO Ultraman once again sticking in where their noses do not belong and getting that beautiful shot. Hawkeye will punish Insane from the side of Hard to Get, which is just a little unfortunate as they're left with just one final player. AKO Ultraman. If they had not stepped on in, but too fast now, down on the ground. Lemon, can he make a play? The answer is no. Lemon out of the equation as well, but Let's Go was taken out by the one and only Lemon just before he got sacrificed out there on the battlefield, which is all good for the side of AKO Ultraman, but no booyah for them, I believe, this time round.
Oh, I'm wondering where that circle's going to be. If it's going to end up more towards the compounds, or is it going to be around GM Remy? And it's going to be the compound. So this is actually problematic, right? Because GM Remy, they were hoping the circle to be on that cliffside hill. Now that it's not, they basically have to run through open ground to try and make it towards those compounds. So it's really down to these teams. Are they going to actually shut down GM Remy, or can they get through there safely? Because Lemon, he's also here. He wants to try and get that backstab, but no, very close.
And it looks like there is still one surviving player on the side of AKO.
He's blowing all his glue
walls.
walls.
Now Aguila Max 7 turns around, and Aguila, that was just way too easy for him. AKO Ultraman bombs out in the 7th spot, and the battle continues as the players of GM Remy flank on from the left-hand side. Divine still alive and kicking with Newbie from the back, trying his best to get into the circle. Low in numbers, but has got the opportunity to survive. But Superman now will keep that pressure in esports, trying to gatekeep these players from getting in.
It's a really tough one, K9. I mean, I'm a little bit worried about teams that sit in that watchtower, but I mean, considering that they're not close, no one's really close to the watchtower, maybe they're a bit safe.
Yeah.
But so far, GM Remy, they've been able to safely get into that circle. WNX have not been able to successfully push them back. So the question here...
Oh, Chessman. Oh, Chessman.
Oh, no.
Legion just punching a hole through the players of Anxiety after they take out the biggest piece on the chessboard. Chessman himself. This is going to be quite the tough spot for them. K9 Esports, on the other hand, will continue doing battle with GM Remy. 2 glue wall stands before them. The players just a little premature as they step on out of the defense. The spray from Superman. AKO Ultraman chipping in at the players of K9 Esports as well to take their chances, and Newbie just making life so difficult for K9 Esports. And GM Remy survives because of that.
Divine
and as the players of Divine take those shots, GM Remy takes advantage. This is a bird eat bird world out there, and there are very few birds that eat other birds.
But could it be a dog that eats that bird?
No, dogs do not eat dogs, right? I know people always say it's a dog eat dog world, but in the current world, dogs do not eat dogs, guys.
But they might eat birds, you don't know. Maybe they'll like chicken.
They might. I mean, my dog tries, but then they always fail, man. Birds are faster, much faster than dogs, but not faster than K9 Esports. Anxiety now, right in front of them, but Pain gets sprayed down onto the ground. Anxiety gets taken out of the equation, all thanks to the players of K9 Esports. But Superman now, final survivor. GM Remy says bye-bye. What a booyah, secure Dudley.
How? How did they actually manage to make it? They had to run through an entire desert to make it into that safe zone.
And like you said, right, they played it a little bit too long. They played it a little bit too late. They had to travel on open grounds
but it
to
doesn't
get
matter.
into the circle. Yeah.
They got the booyah. So yeah, they had to travel through an open desert to make it into the safe zone. And I guess the one thing that GM Remy are going to be very blessed about is that everyone within the compounds, they knew where everyone was. They didn't know where GM Remy was coming in. So they were so busy trying to deal with each other that GM Remy only had to really deal with WNX, right?
And that's so, I mean, lucky and beautiful at the same time, because not many of those teams were focusing on GM Remy, but it was also also a very stealthy, tactical approach that GM Remy took towards that final circle, because they constantly found those hidden spaces, built up their glue wall defenses, and played the timing right. And as soon as they saw those teams that were playing the pressure against them switch their focus to someone else, watch players get taken down one after the other, they take that as the cue to continue moving into the circle. I mean, it is so miraculous that they managed to pull that off, because, you know, those kind of runs usually don't really sustain for long.
No, absolutely. I mean, the fact that I'm still shocked they can run the desert and not get knocked down. I was expecting 1 or 2 players to get knocked down. Okay, fine, you get the reses. That's totally normal for Free Fire. But oh, man, that was... I think if you're GM Remy, though, you got to be feeling really happy going into that next game. And also, GM Remy, they are one of the top teams to look out for. They did place 3rd during the group stage. We do know that they have a very solid record.
Correct.
So, if anything, you're going to be really happy with your placement points, your kill points. And I think in particular, everyone's been watching out for AKO, but they finished, I think, 7th in that round. So... I don't even think AKO is going to be an issue yet, because they haven't had a solid round.
The statement that the Philippines seems to be dominating the Snapdragon Pro Series seems to continue, right? I mean, it was Anxiety picking the first one up, and now it's GM Remy picking the second one up.
They're on fire.
They are on absolute fire, right? I did not expect them in the slightest to get into that final circle with a full squad, but they did exactly that, which is nothing short of a miracle.
Well, let's take a look at the round standings to see what points these teams are going to be taking home. And then, of course, we did see GM Remy and K9 being out top 2 teams, GM Remy being the ones to really take that crown home. And both teams tie 17 apiece.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a great play coming through from K9 Esports. Although they pick up that second spot, they've managed to sandbag themselves just enough with those skills to make sure GM Remy doesn't really run away all that too far from them. Legion Alpha with a huge improvement coming through from the previous matchup with a 12 points to their name this time. Anxiety, after a booyah, dropped down to the 4th spot with 11 points, which isn't too bad.
But we do need to take a look at some of the other teams, right? I mean, Divine ending in 9th place. I mean, you'd be a little bit disappointed. It's Grand Finals day. You really do not want to be bottom 7.
I mean, if you're talking about Divine being disappointed, look at Eva Continue and Orange
Well,
Esports.
I was going to eventually get there, and I'm just going to slowly go down the...
You know, ORV Tyrants, I understand. But Eva Continue, this is the team that just used to dominate out there on the battlefield. And there was a meta where the number of grenades available in all of these lobbies was drastically reduced.
Yes.
And that is no longer the case. The grenades are back, but McRory and his momentum just have not improved.
Yeah, I mean, he got eliminated pretty early on, so it's unfortunate. Sometimes you just get unlucky. You don't know who's really dropping next to you, right? But of course, we do need to take a look at K9 Esports stats here very quickly. They did take home 8 kills that round, and they did 4,656 damage. So, I mean, they were participating in the fights. They weren't completely vulturing, stealing those headshots. So, I mean,
acceptable amount of damage. Nothing to shout about.
Acceptable for K9, right? I mean, if you're a big dog, you're going to be doing a lot of the damage. But unfortunately, the Bees win today.
I mean, it was not a breakout round. It was an acceptable performance coming through from K9 Esports. And once again, survival time, 16 minutes, 38 seconds. How are these players shaving off time out there on the battlefield? I have no clue right now.
Well, we aren't having rounds where teams are trying to outlast the circle as well, right?
Yeah.
We are ending before then. So I guess that's also something to take into consideration for these survival times. Who knows? Maybe we're starting the clock a little bit earlier, a little bit later.
Dude, no,
when the last person hits the ground, the clock starts.
I mean, but I think you brought up a good point. But, you know, in terms of the players, you know, slowing things down at the start of the matchup.
The games are ending a bit faster.
Yeah, the chaos that ensues at the very final circle seems to wrap things up really quick, right? So if you're not going to be able to respond quickly out there on the battlefield towards those final circles, it's a GGWP for you. But overall standings looks absolutely solid for the Filipinos.
Oh my gosh, the Philippine viewers are going to be so happy, right? They've got a lot of representation up towards the top of that bracket, but we do need to commend Anxiety. They have had a fantastic day today. They've been very solid with their performance. They've got the booyah. They're sitting on 18 placement points, 14 kills, the most out of all the teams currently. So Anxiety proving to be a very strong contender. K9 after that last round, I think that did boost their score because the team, they kind of got cut down a bit early during round 1, but this comeback for Kalahari, I think they'll be very proud of themselves.
Yeah, and overall for the K9 clan as a whole, they must be really proud of themselves because
Yes.
anxiety is K9 anxiety and K9 esports in that second spot. I mean, if you're dominating the Snapdragon Pro Series
It's a
brought to you by
sign.
ESL, yeah, it's most definitely a sign. But you know, consistency is key at the end of the day, the bad word of the day. But let's see if we can come back to
Bad
that.
word. It's your word, AJ. I don't know what you're talking about.
But GM Remy, talk about consistency from the league stage into the grand finals. They finished up at the third spot at the league stage. And after 2 rounds, they're at the third spot as well. Not too far away from that #1 placement. But, you know, you really got to hustle from day #1 itself.
Something I do want to talk about actually is we did see Divine in 4th place, right?
Yes.
And you have to think, if Divine were able to sort of get a better score during that second round, they would have actually been able to snag that 3rd place, maybe even 2nd.
You know,
That's what happens when you have those bad rounds, you know? You have a good round 1 and then...
I
Boom.
think they didn't even deserve the 4th spot at that point.
Really?
Yeah, because they broke up. I don't know what they were doing on the battlefield. They were just all over the place.
This guy's a little bit harsh, but we do have an interview happening. Let's see what GM Remy have to say.
I just want to know, GM Remy, how do you feel after you guys managed to get a booyah against all the teams that are competing today?
GM Remy, ano daw na feel mo na nakabuya daw kayo?
Ano po, sobrang saya po kasi po kahit mahirap, nakaya pa rin naman po. Naipagsabayan pa rin.
GM Remy said they're very happy as a team that even though the other enemies were a bit challenging, they were able to fight through and win the booyah.
Mereka kata sebentar tadi yang mana perlawanan mereka sukar tetapi mereka bersyukur untuk mendapatkan booyah. So my next question to GM Remy, I just want to know, other than maybe K9 Esports, who's the other team that you guys going to have a hard time facing other than K9 or even Continue?
Yung K9 Esports at yung Continue, sino pa bang ibang teams na sa tingin nyo mahirap kalabanin?
AKO Ultraman and ano po, yung K9 and Sayati. Kasi po masyado po pautak. Baga strategy.
GM Remy said they feel like they're challenging because they have a lot of strategies and they know how to go around the map as a team.
Jadi apa yang dikatakan oleh GM Remy adalah mereka tahu yang mereka boleh menang kerana mereka ada strategi yang lebih baik dan mereka risau dengan AK Ultraman dan juga anxiety tapi mereka rasa mereka boleh menang. So GM Remy, my friend right here beside me, Abi, he's your big fans.
Wow.
So do you have anything to say to your fans from Malaysia over here named Abi?
Ano sabi mo sa mga fans mo sa Malaysia?
Thank you for support.
Ano daw masasabi sa mga fans mo sa Malaysia, Remiel? Ano daw masasabi mo?
Gagalingan pa po namin sa abot na namin makakaya.
GM Remo said that they're gonna do their best as a team until where they can succeed in the tournament. And thank you for the support.
I see. All right. Okay. Thank you so much and good luck, GM Remy.
Thank you.
But now we know everybody's watching out for AKO Ultraman, but they don't really need to.
They don't need to. Gosh. I mean, if you're AKO, it's going to be a lot of pressure on your shoulders, right? Because everyone has been looking to you towards the group stage.
Yes.
And then you're not really meeting expectations coming into that grand final.
Correct. And this is the main reason why I say a lot of these big squads usually hold back during the league stages because of the
Saving
exact
strats.
because of this exact situation, right? Where everyone's got an eye for you, everyone's watching your drop spots, everybody's looking and reading your rotations, everybody can anticipate your actions already. ready, you are going to have a huge bullseye on your back. So performing at the league stage, getting the lion's share of the prize pool during league stage might be great to a certain degree, but it can also hurt your performance at the grand finals. And like you said, expectations, right? The best way to demotivate someone is by piling on the pressure of expectation. If you're Asian, you know what I'm talking about.
Goodness, AJ, please don't bring
Asian
back
parenting.
PTSD. Too many memories. But we are going to be jumping into our next matchup soon. We will not be going for a break. So I think for the team, this is sort of a saving grace too, right? Because it's much easier
Unless
to play.
they need to use the washroom.
You can play in the washroom. What are you talking about?
Fair enough. The world has
Mobile
evolved.
gaming. All right, so I do believe we are going to go for a break. So we did get a bit of a
Production's like,
change.
oh yeah, Mustachio, you've got a great point. We're going to take a quick short break.
Oh,
We'll
gosh.
see you guys in a little bit.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and Monster Energy.
Welcome back to the Free Fire Snapdragon Pro Series. This is the Season 1 Open Finals. My name's AJ. I'm the Mustachio down here with the one and only Danley, bringing you guys all of the action. And so far, the action is brought to you courtesy by the Philippines because they are dominating the competition. I mean, they've got the most number of teams in the Grand Finals. And now back-to-back Filipino teams have secured their booyah and dominating the top 3 as well.
If you think about it, I mean, the odds are in favor of the Philippines so far
Absolutely
to get booyahs. It makes sense. But we are going to be jumping into our next map in just a moment. AJ. It's going to be Purgatory. So we are going to be switching to technically our last different map in the map pool, and then we are going to rinse and repeat and go back onto Bermuda. But Purgatory, if we look at Purgatory as a map, it probably has more similarities to Bermuda than it does to Kalahari, right?
Absolutely.
In terms of the layout of the map in general, the elevation. It's not as crazy as Kalahari.
Correct.
So you've got a lot of places to really work with. But the one difference that makes it unique compared to Bermuda and Kalahari is the fated water circles. That's where things can be a little bit tricky, and you tend to get water circles on Purgatory. So I'm wondering how teams sort of play around it.
And very recently, we have seen teams just leave it all to luck. I mean, there's a body of water there. They just pick which side of the island they want to rush onto, and then hope and pray for that final circle to come towards them. And we've seen a few teams luck out in the exact same way as well, right? But one more thing that really makes Purgatory such a challenge is the mass land size that they have to maneuver around as they look for loot, as they move from compound to compound. So one of the things that will be very important, just like how the grappling hook is absolutely essential at Kalahari, at Purgatory, you need those vehicles for yourself, Daphne.
Yeah, it's much easier if you're able to scout around, see where the teams are. I mean, that information's really useful at the end of the day, because you want to know where the opponents are, so you can sort of pick, okay, we know people are here, let's try and take this route, avoid the conflict.
And once again, the flight path is going to be kind to all of the teams,
Hot
allowing
drops?
the full map to be explored by these teams, and almost hot drop by Divine and Wasik Philippines coming through there. But AKO, it looks like they might have still the chance to back away towards the bottom of Brasilia and not get into a heavy gunfight engagement just yet with the players of Hard to Get. But a gunfight we most definitely can be guaranteed at this point.
Hang on, AJ. We might see a little bit of conflict towards the southern side of the map, right? We've got one team at Fire Brigade, and hang on, Anxiety Toby, what are you doing there? You're alone. There's Orange Esports on that island.
Anxiety seems to have a little bit of a miscommunication here. Someone said campsite, and the other guy clearly did not hear that drop site call out, right? And Toby has just flown off a little bit too far from the rest of the teammates, finding himself at Lumber Mill, thinking that he wanted to turn himself into a lumberjack, and Orange Esports will be more than happy to help him get suited up for that role, right? As I can see those players, Goku as well as Jabat, keeping a close eye onto Toby. Hard to Get, on the other hand, they have spotted out the players of AKO, Ultraman, but they choose to not engage, and I really love the trigger discipline coming through from all of these teams out there.
Well, it could be a case of either trigger discipline or the fact that they aren't confident in their weapons, right? Maybe they don't have anything that's going to be able to confidently net them a long-range kill.
Yeah.
So,
which is, I guess, interesting
it's
and
a thing, maybe.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, or they could just be, you know.
It is what it is, man. The revival system is not on, right? Everybody has to be careful. I mean, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because, I mean, it's a good thing when it comes for a Battle Royale game, because it's all about survival. It's all about being careful and strategically maneuvering your squad in towards that final circle. But, you know, there's just a certain element of excitement when these teams step on out there, very brave to take on these early engagements, regardless of who they face out there on the battlefield, and then later just revive the team members who got taken down in the process, right? I mean, there are pluses, there are minuses on both sides, but the very slow approach to the start of these matches just brings forth that chaos towards those final circles, which I'm not a huge fan of, because I like strategy, and to a certain degree, when you've got so many teams squeezed into the second last or the third last circle, there's very little room for strategy. It is all going to depend on your mechanical capability.
You can't blame them. I mean, with that many people in one space, you're going to run out of oxygen at some point. And some people, they can't really think without the oxygen, so... I mean, I guess that applies to every living thing.
They start shooting a little bit slower. The time turners don't get pulled out.
There's also the fact that panic might set in, right? When you have someone right next to you. If you don't have a shotgun, then you're going to have to try and if you're unfortunate and only have a sniper... it's kind of hard to get those really close range shots in. But we are going to take a look very quickly at the perspective here of Hard to Get. And GM Remy, I believe, was quite nearby. So depending on what route they decide to take, they might run into a really big team. Shura.
Shura.
Run. Just run.
What
He
is
could.
Shura even doing, right? Just straying away. I mean, there's not even a single loot spot around this area. And Divine is just making that travel between the golf course as well as Quarry without any protection whatsoever. They have spotted out a player from the side of Warsick Philippines, and it looks like Divine want to take those initial shots. Zen OP being sent forth first, but Tacular will be able to take that high ground before him, and if he looks down quick enough, should be able to spot out two players. Chessman knocks down Goku. Orange Esports engages with Anxiety off screen. Goku taken out of the equation, and once again, 3 matches in a row, Orange Esports loses a man.
Oh, boy.
GG, Orange.
Nah, I'm a bit worried here for War6 because the team is taking a long time to group together. They will slowly get there, and I think maybe the opening here, it's closing in for DVN. So we are looking at a 4v4. It's not going to be a 4v2. So let's see, is War6, are they going to get punished by this?
Yeah, I think Divine might just get punished by this because they are the ones who have got the worst position in here. And a good time turner pulled out by Tacular as Shura now appears from the right-hand side. That flank is going to be do not as 2 players from the side of Divine get knocked down onto the ground simultaneously. Zen as well as Mirol, and the finisher comes through. But Invoker, there's a good turnaround from Newbie. But the Newbie cannot really finish Invoker off just yet. Thanks to those glue walls pulled out in defense. Joey will finish off the players on the side of Divine, and Divine now has got one final survivor in the name of Shura, but shots from too slow won't be able to tag his back up. Even if Shura does get away, the only thing he can play for now is placement points. Once again, no revival system turned on. Shura drop. He will not.
There's no way.
Yeah, he will not be able to survive this, but with all of those prayers that you guys send through his way, through your hashtag Snapdragon Pro Series, and keep yourselves active in the conversation, maybe you might be able to give Shura a little bit of extra motivation, but you guys were too slow, man.
Caster's curse kicked
And
in. I'm sorry,
no
AJ.
pun intended, it was too slow. It took that final kill.
Actually, I was going to say, if anything, props are too slow for getting that double knockdown.
Yeah.
Right?
Looks like he's not that slow. He's gotten 3 kills so far.
No. Here's the thing. This is how his name works, okay? When you normally die, you're going to curse whoever killed you, right? Like, you're going to say, too slow. So...
Try again later, Danley.
Okay, no. I think you just need to say it now. You're gonna, too slow. It's fine. It's fine. It works differently for everybody. But what doesn't work differently is that if you're dead, you're dead.
Oh, Axel tossing the grenade to nobody. Let's go on the other end. Double barrel right in hand, but Axel has got the Mag 7. And the auto shotgun is always going to outperform if the double barrel does not get that initial shot accurate. X-Roy, on the other hand, will approach the situation. Basic gets put down onto the ground, and Hawkeye steps on in, but gets taken out just as quickly. Who's next will be the next team to get out.
The name. Oh, goodness. Okay, so here's the good news, right? We did see AKO sort of dragging their feet over the course of these past 2 games. So game 3, it looks like AKO are finally, I'm not sure if it's a case of the team waking up or maybe having a bit of a warm-up, but we could be seeing a potential booyah coming in from this favorite. But
that's what I thought when they got 13 kills.
Okay, you know why they're doing well? Because you didn't make your prediction this time.
Okay,
you
fair
predicted
enough.
that
Fair
AKO
enough.
was going to do well. So maybe stop saying stuff.
Fair enough.
Quite right now. But
Okay.
yeah, we could see them do very well.
Remy.
GM Remy,
They're all going on a safari now.
Why not? That's Halloween here.
Yeah,
Oh, it's a bit
throwing
early for Halloween. Hang on.
all 4 players into one vehicle. Thank goodness those trip mines aren't really a meta right now to take the vehicle out of the equation. And therefore, GM Remy can continue traveling on in. Hopefully, there's no grenade launcher that finds their path later on.
If there's a team that needs to have a name change, it's probably Orange Esports. They got to swap with Anxiety because after those two
Three.
rounds, technically 3.
Yeah.
It's been an anxiety-inducing day for Orange Esports. They've been cut down very, very early on, and even in this round, they've already lost 1 player, so they're now down to 3 again.
But the first round, they lost the first player, and then they still managed to find that final circle. So, they're good survivors, but, they just downs their chances in these team fights, right? So
they've never really had a round where they've had 4 players comfortably make it.
And maybe that's what it takes, right? 4 players on the side of Orange Esports to perhaps nail a couple of booyahs. You never know. Speaking of the team themselves, Orange Esports might just appear right in front of Anxiety as they storm Central.
As they storm Central. We'll keep an eye on Anxiety here, but it doesn't seem like they're going to run into anybody. But who we are going to run into is maybe Eva looking to engage into AKO. Now, the thing is, these teams, they don't know who they're looking at right now.
Yeah.
Whoever gets the first knock, that's going to be information enough. And we'll see if they do continue. But Orange Esports, again, and this time it's with Anxiety, a team that's on fire, AJ.
Anxiety now, beautiful shots coming through. They get a quick knock, but Wasik Philippines approaching the situation as well to save their brothers Orange Esports. Although not so much of a brother, they would take them out as quickly as possible if they did come across them. But being the third party in this situation, too slow, is quick enough to knock Toby down onto the ground. No finisher coming through just yet. And here comes Wasik Philippines to help out Orange Esports. For reals now, too slow on the ground. Can he get taken out? A double glue wall pulled out, and he gets that ripped immediately down. Anxiety trying to eliminate too slow from the equation, and they throw in the ice grenade as well. Is that going to be enough? Time turner pulled out, but what a grenade from Kanoho! Invoker as well as Spectacular takedown, but Wasik Philippines isn't going down that easy. They've got the Mag 7 to work with, but Anxiety has cut down the distance already. Here comes that backstab from Toby as well, and they keep throwing down those players one after the other. Yet another great nade from Kanoho Denley.
Oh, Wasix, they are scrambling, and if there's a team you don't want to run into, it is Anxiety, and they just keep going, AJ. It doesn't end.
And Anxiety, on that note, finishes off Wasik Philippines and puts on a really big warning to any of the other teams that wants to come through in third party. ORV watching this whole situation break down, thinks twice now of engaging with these players.
They're probably thinking, are we going to be the next challenge? You know, in those, you know, like there's games, a secret challenger has arrived. I might not be them. Just thinking.
ORV's like, I thought Wasik was going to be able to do it. Okay, maybe we'll engage a little bit later, bro. But now...
You know one of those jokes, right, where someone comes in through the front door, they see what happens, and you just slowly reverse.
That's definitely ORV right now, right?
No thanks.
And ORV's hoping and praying now that by the time the circle catches up into the next safe zone, they are going to have another team engage with Anxiety, because if the Anxiety does not get engaged now, ORV has to take that long flank around from the left-hand side. They better start moving, because the circle is going to start moving on its own time in 30 seconds.
Yeah, and we are looking at a rather water-heavy circle as well. So if you're stuck on the other side, I mean, what do? Are you going to jump where everyone else is? Do you try and cross? It's dangerous because there's no cover if you try and cross that river.
Absolutely, and the players of AKO Ultraman taking the biggest risk of them all in the open grounds gunfight, and that's not going to serve them well is if the players of EVA continue find a couple of these shots. As you can see, Toxic has got the AWM in hand, the perfect weapon from that long range to shut down these players one after the other.
Stop, Decos. No. Decos, it's a trap. Are they going to hold? Are they going to hold?
Bye. Okay, that's exactly what Jampong thought. And Decos, as quickly as he said hi, he said bye and left all of us to join the rest of his friends at that lobby. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Orange Esports will have to try again in round number 4. But so far, in day number 1 of this grand finals, things have been quite difficult for Orange.
It's not Orange season. I don't know what season Orange is great, but yeah, that's...
Clearly not this season.
No, absolutely. But, hard to get. Actually going to run into AKO. This is not a team you want to run into, and Batman is down. There is no way they get that pick up. It's now down to Jay-Z. Can he maybe try and get a pick off onto AKO? I think that's wishful thinking. They're eliminated.
Anticlimactic end for the players of Hard to Get. It seems like they clearly find it hard to get into that final circle.
Yeah.
And AKO Ultraman just blasts them away with that final grenade as well. And now on that note, AKO are the only ones on this side of the island. So if the circle moves towards them, GGWP AKO Ultraman.
Yeah, weirdly enough, the circle tends to gravitate towards the more empty side of the island. So it could go in their favor, but look at this, a house party now. Excuse me, it's grand finals day.
Oh, and players from the side of EVA continue managing to put the pain on the side of esports. It is going to be the one and only K9 Esports. Legion Alpha taken out by the exact same squad as well. EVA continue bagging all of these kills, albeit not too many on their side. Just finding it as their sole duty to finish off all of these players and their squads. EVA continue. They survive.
Look at that filthy circle. This is, I do believe, very, very bad. So AKO, I'm not sure how you want to do this.
Players of EVA continue now. AKO Ultraman has to find an opening, and that opening basically means an engagement between EVA Continue and GM Remy. The moment this battle starts, the moment Anxiety starts fighting, the moment Anxiety starts shooting off in any of that direction, AKO Ultraman needs to find that opportunity to swim around. And this was that engagement! EVA Continue now as they try to shoot down the players of AKO. Riptide Rhythm goes towards those players as well. GM Remy need to find a couple of pot shots onto the players of EVA Continue, or else it's just game over for AKO Ultraman at this point.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way AKO can comfortably go over unless all the pot shots just randomly miss. But we are going to switch on over here to Anxiety, who are going to be here with ORV. Now, so far, nobody has gone down, but to be honest, they're around a compound. There's no clear, no clear view. But oh, Barbara actually getting some really good shots in. No one's gone down though. It's a bit of a stalemate here.
Anxiety with 6 kills in here so far. Chessman alongside Barba, the highest kills on the side for Anxiety, and now they have to slowly maneuver their way in, but they have to clean up house first. ORV still giving a lot of difficult time at the back end here as they continue pitching in all of those shots, distracting Anxiety, not allowing them to move forward. A great grenade will tag all of them, but that glue wall now will be popped up in front of those players as they try to move on in towards those safer areas. Kanoho, what a play with that grenade launcher. Yet another player in front of Anxiety. 3 of them stack up that glue wall. Chessman with the quick round around the glue wall with that double barrel. That shotgun shuts them down. Kanoho gets the kill. Anxiety, they run around this maze of glue walls. Kanoho gets picked right back up through all of that chaos, and the players of ORE still sustaining, but Toby with the back 7 now. That auto shotgun, but the maze of the glue walls will not stop him. Toby gets the kill. Kanoho gets Hades stab, and Anxiety still survives them in a full squad.
Oh, and the circle has started moving in, so they got to start moving right now. But look at this. This is a pretty open circle so far for Anxiety. There's nowhere around them. If you look, it's actually EVA going up against GM Remy. So these two teams, basically, if you're going to be the, if you want to, just let GM Remy and EVA eliminate each other, right? Guarantee that second place. You don't need to show yourself.
Absolutely, and Anxiety might just be able to score yet another booyah for themselves. They have the circle. They do not need to do anything in here. GM Remy, beautiful shots. McRory out of the equation alongside Daymoon as well. The one and only Ramiel putting on all of the hurt, but here comes Chessman as the third party to pick off all of these kills. He manages to get a knock. 4 bits. Is that going to be stolen away? Chessman still takes it. EVA Continue out of the equation, and Anxiety now with the final attack. GM Remy, can they secure this booyah for themselves, or is it going to be the players of Anxiety? That back-to-back booyah is not going to be a Anxiety scores the 3rd map.
Oh my goodness, Anxiety are on fire today, and this is just our first 3 games. This is a massive lead to accumulate for a team. On the first 3 games, you got 2 of the booyahs. You got a load of kills.
Not only did you get 2 of the booyahs, when we saw the overall leaderboards after game number 2, Anxiety was in that number 1 spot. So
32 points.
Yeah, they've just gone on to further solidify their placement in that number 1 rank, making sure it will be a tough time for all of the other teams to catch up with them. So solid performance on day number 1.
Wow, I mean, if there's a team to look out for, it's going to be Anxiety. And they did say, right, they were probably going to get at least 3 booyahs. 3.
I think he was put in a spot, right? Because his initial answer was like, bro, I want all the booyahs. You give me all the booyahs in the day, all 12 booyahs. I'll take that and I'll happily go home.
I think 3 is the minimum, right? And so far, they're more than halfway. So all they have to do is
day
get one
one
more.
in itself.
Exactly. What if he was talking about day 1?
Maybe
he was like,
he
I'm
was.
just going to get 3 booyahs on day 1.
Maybe he was, but I would like a few more than 3 Anxiety if you want to see something called consistency, which they are clearly delivering right now.
And they have no anxiety to get this consistency.
I know, right? I mean, when you are this consistent, who has anxiety? Everyone else except you.
Everyone that sees Anxiety in the kill feed, they just think, no.
Yeah. So Anxiety, that name wasn't really given for themselves, but that is the emotion they invoke in all of the other teams when they step out there onto the battlefield. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all of this excitement, these laughs, these crazy battles out there on the battlefield is only because we are partnered up with the one and only Snapdragon Elite Gaming when winning matters. And if you feel like you need the extra boost of energy, then we have exactly that. Monster Energy, our sponsors as well. You get to unleash the beast within make sure you check out the website so you can get more information on these brands.
And as always, if you want to join our Discord community, feel free to do so. If
Yeah.
you have any questions in regards to the tournament, then you can ask one of our admins. No problems, right? So again, if you do want to join our Discord community, do so. We're very active. We've got active admins. And if you have any questions you need answered, let us know.
Yeah.
Someone out there's going to help you out. But
And you're probably thinking, right, why do I want to join your Discord? Because you might just want to be the next team that competes for this crazy prize pool that we have offered.
there's more to that, AJ. There's a season 2. So if you're already in the Discord group, you're going to be informed as to what's happening for season 2. But it's a little bit too far ahead, right? We're still in the grand final for season 1, and we're going to go for a quick break, right? Give the teams a little bit of a break, get ready for that next game. We're going back to Bermuda, but only after this short break.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and Monster Energy.
I don't got the time, put me in, coach. I've been going hard, time to let it show. Everything raw, give it to me now. Let me have the spot, man, it's going down. Gotta get it here, I don't wanna wait. Take what I want, then I go train. Gotta get a win, I won't lose the game. This is my year, I ain't gonna break. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. There comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. Triple kill. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here.
Welcome back to the Free Fire Snapdragon Pro Series. This is day number 1 of the Open Finals. My name's AJ. I'm the Mustachio down here with the one and only Danley, bringing you guys this broadcast. And what a fun day it has been for the Filipinos, especially Anxiety. 3 games back to back now. They have successfully given everybody else, except themselves and their managers, anxiety.
I mean, this is if anything, it's probably the best way to start the day, right?
Yes.
You've had 2 fantastic rounds. You are topping the charts, the leaderboard in kills, in placement points. So basically, if you're Anxiety, you now have a buffer against the competition.
Correct.
You're allowed, I would say, you're allowed to maybe mess up 1 or 2 games now. You know, if you get the donut,
Let's not Anxiety. Let's not do that, okay? Consistency is key, especially if you want to give everybody else anxiety.
Oh, look at that.
Anxiety.
28 points. That's
16
juicy.
kills. That's the record already at this point of time. This is
Yeah.
the record so far at the grand finals. Anxiety really raking up their kills. 28 points, like you said, Danley. Just a massive way to show up on day number 1 of this grand finals.
Yeah.
Eva continue. This is a little bit of an improvement from the abysmal performance so far at the finals. But you know, once again, we need to see that consistency out of them, right? We need this to continue from the side of Eva continue.
Yeah, and I am glad to see AKO Ultraman here, right? Because
Yeah.
the team's sort of been under the spotlight.
Yeah.
They've been focused down a lot, I suppose, because as we did come into that grand final, everyone, when asked, who are you afraid of? AKO Ultraman. AKO Ultraman. So maybe the pressure got to them a little bit at the beginning of the day, but they are picking up their feet. Hopefully we do see some improvement. Maybe they're hiding something. Maybe it's just like, oh, let's pretend that we're not doing so well, and then we come back into the fold.
Or maybe everybody naming AKO Ultraman gave them anxiety. Literally gave them anxiety.
Or the target is now on anxiety's back, right? So AKO are not feeling as much of the heat because maybe the teams are not focusing on them anymore. You know,
Maybe.
a lot of things can happen. But let's take a look very quickly at anxiety's stats. 16 kills. That's, as you said, you know, the most kills so far today. 7,000 damage.
Now you see why I say 4,000 damage, nothing much to shout about. This is where we start screaming a little bit. Anxiety, what a play, man. I mean, 16 kills, obviously, alongside those kills, you will get a boosted amount of damage.
So
that's
aggressive too.
Yeah, that's the kind of damage that is going to be putting you up on the leaderboard. That's the kind of damage that's going to be really putting in the distance between yourself as well as some of these other teams out there. And it's really tough or really hard to think that this was the team that got 6th spot at the league stage, right? Talk about not really showing your fangs.
Oh, look at the standings. They are almost 2 times GM Remy's points.
Almost
60.
too perfect, don't you think? 2, 30, 30, 60. Wow.
Okay, you know the funny thing, if we take a look at their previous stats, okay, so they previously got 83 placement points, 74 kills. So it wasn't as equal back then, but so good.
Yeah, I know, right? Chef's kiss out of the anxiety squad, but GM Remy keeping that pressure up 35 points in that 2nd place. AKO Ultraman, although they do have the podium spot so far after these 3 rounds, it's not going to be all a bed of roses just yet because they still need to hustle on up and catch up at anxiety. 3rd place with 34 points. And 3 points behind them, K9 Esports with 31, followed by Divine with 22 points, and Eva continue at that 6th spot with 19 points.
You know, kind of crazy if you look at the standings right now, right? The top 6 teams, minus who's next, I think it's minus who's next Kalasag, we are looking at the same top 5 teams. From the group stage. So it seems like the group stage, they were sort of an indicator as to how these teams were in terms of skill. It's just anxiety. They went from 6 during the group stage to 1st place, and a comfortable 1st place as well for day 1 of that grand final.
Absolutely right. And an absolute breakout run coming through here from anxiety. Quite the surprising turnaround for a team that was struggling just a tad bit to keep up with teams like AKO Ultraman as well as GM Remy earlier on in the competition, right? But Legion Alpha in that 7th spot, showing that they are not going to take no for an answer. They are fighting their way right up to the top. But, you know, at the league stages, this is exactly where we saw them when the competition kind of came to an end for the league stage, right? They were on the 1st spot and the 2nd half of the leaderboard. And that's not the kind of consistency we want to see, but it is what we get. Wasik Philippines in the 8th spot, followed by Who's Next Kalasag Philippines. And the bottom 3, ORE Tyrants, Orange Esports.
This one's a bit of a disappointment.
And hard to get, I mean, no pun intended, but hard to get seems to find it a little hard to get some points out there.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of those 2 teams, so Orange Esports, I can't quite put my finger on what's really happening with this team. If it's a case of like other teams spotting them out and just cutting them down, or if it's them just being at the wrong place in the wrong time. Whereas hard to get, it's sort of like the opposite, right? They try and go for these engagements and they've just lost out every single time.
Yeah, and you know, we will try to see exactly what Orange Esports is up to, but for the time being, let's hop on over to the interview segment. We've got Toby once again from Anxiety speaking to our Basagastas.
1 booyah, but 2 booyah in 3
Yeah,
maps. What happened?
Yeah. I mean, we played well. That's what happened.
Simple.
Yeah. So I just want to know, what's the difference between anxiety during league stage and during grand final? Is there like you guys study the drop points, or is there anything that you guys do to win the tournaments?
We prepared more and we improved our chemistry and composure.
So apa yang Toby katakan sebentar tadi, untuk persediaan di perlawanan ini, mereka ready composure mereka training banyak dan mereka study banyak lah daripada semua pasukan. So Toby, I just want to know, you guys managed to secure 2 Booyah, 30 placement point, 30 kill points, 60 points ahead of the other teams. So will you guys keep up with this momentum, or okay, let's say for today, how many Booyah for today? Since you already have 2, so we have 3 more maps. How many Booyah for today?
One more.
One more.
One more. Not like you.
Only one? Only one? Not 2?
Maybe two.
Oh, okay. Nampak dia punya semangat tu sebenarnya.
Semangat tu penting. Alright, Anxiety. So maybe anything you want to say to your fans, or maybe of course to your girlfriends, because you know you show your picture to your to audience, the girlfriends.
I mean, she's my biggest supporter.
Oh, do you have anything to say to her and your fans?
To our supporters out there, thank you for supporting us and keep supporting us. We're going to win this.
Alright, thank you so much, Anxiety, and all the best for the next game.
Good luck.
You know Toby is a real team player because he puts the I in anxiety. I had to.
I mean, I think I had anxiety listening to that joke. Okay, enough with the anxiety stuff. Right? I think we've been sort of killing it. But to be fair, right, we do have to give anxiety credit. They've had a great day. They absolutely deserve their booyahs. It wasn't a case of them just being lucky. They've been looking for the kills. They've been aggressive. They've been the ones to really put themselves out there. So, if anything, anxiety, massive target on their back now. I think they've effectively stolen it from AKO, who are feeling a bit of relief, right?
And Anxiety is one of those teams who are in the Pro League under Garena directly as well. And they are one of those teams that have to change their playstyle drastically to not get super aggressive. Because when you look at the official tournament, you can see the aggressive side coming and popping off. And they do manage to get some good points out there. And it seems like the league stages was the place where they kind of got used to this format, try to, really perfect some of their strategies, and all of that preparation and sacrificing of a little bit of money for the league stage prize pool,
the bigger prize,
has turned out to be well worth all of the time.
I mean, it makes sense. Is there any point to revealing everything during the group stage when you can try and keep it? So, I mean, there's always going to be the double sword where you save strats for grand finals and then you just go, it's happened. We've seen teams sort of do that and it hasn't worked out. But
I'm saving strats, but you might have not. You might as well have not, right?
You land in the game.
Just taken a little bit of an extra.
You land in the game. It's like, what are we doing again? I forgot.
I mean, we're not talking about Orange esports in this particular time. But, maybe that particular situation is happening to Orange esports where they keep landing and they look around and they're trying to wonder what in the world is going on, because round after round after round, they've just continuously lost a single player at the very start of the game.
Okay, there's also another case where they land and then someone else does the thinking for them. It's like, oh, we're going to get that kill. They got it. And it ends up being an Orange esports player. That's Battle Royale. Like, sometimes you don't have control over what happens. Like, someone's going to be behind you and it's inevitable. You never saw it. So
the one thing that you can be in control of is your drop spot. And very clearly, all of these teams have taken good control of that, because we do not see these hot drops. But in the process of trying to spread out on that battlefield as wide as possible, trying to secure a lot of loot for themselves, is where we see some of these early engagements and these mishaps. And Orange esports, I think, once bitten, twice shy, but my fiance always tells me, twice bitten, better go die. Now, unfortunately, that's holding true to these players who stray away a little too fast. So maybe you might not want to make that exact same mistake the fourth time round.
I mean, I can see why you're probably not on a competitive team, so I'm just going to stick to that. But speaking of hot drops, I guess we're just going to sort of see, are we going to see some changes? Because I know if you're towards the bottom of the bracket, you have a lot less to lose.
Yeah.
So maybe you start making those drastic plays happen. You start making those hot drops happen. And maybe if it works out, it works out. Great. If you don't, then oh well.
I'll legitimate lose my mind if Orange Esports once again becomes the first split and loses a player early. And they drop right beside Divine. By the looks of it, it looks like Shura might just be able to catch them off guard. Clock Tower is where the players of Orange Esports will choose to drop on into this time round. And not only do they have to worry about Shura from the side of Divine, also the players of Anxiety on their left-hand side, giving them exactly that, anxiety.
And yeah, Remy's actually really close to Anxiety as well. Now, I'm genuinely curious, are they doing this on purpose? Because we don't have data as to where these teams normally drop. So we don't know who's trying to hot drop and who's trying to dodge. So we'll see. If GM Remy do decide to run into Anxiety, I think that's going to be a really exciting one.
Yeah, I mean, once they're done looted up at
That's
Hangar
top 1
already.
and 2 teams.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. They
Someone's
have
going
to.
home.
They have to kind of travel around, and obviously the next circle is going to determine a huge portion as to which path they actually take. But you know, I don't really expect this circle to make such a huge difference.
Oh,
now.
look at Remy. They got so lucky with the loot. Delicious.
And that's just going to be dragging them away from Anxiety. So the gods of RNG themselves do not want these teams to go up against each other.
They don't want the fights to happen.
Yeah, not yet.
So upset.
Not yet. And
So
K9
upset.
Esports, on the other hand, will spot out Lay from the side of Legion. One more shot from Blanc. Is he going to be able to get the third one? Time Turner alongside the glue wall by the Riptide Rhythm. Oh my god, 3 of those shots still has not taken Lay down.
No
Talk about a
headshots.
true survivor.
Unfortunate. If they got a headshot there, at least they would have been able to secure the kill. But Lay gets out, he runs to his teammates, has got backup. And what's the plan here? Is K9 going to drive in? Or are they going to drive out?
Nah, I think it's going to be driving away as quickly as possible because Superman and Blankies, although they are together, their 2 other buddies seem to have moved away a little bit too far in anticipation of better loot elsewhere. And Lay, not only does he survive, but he holds down the fort here at this dam. Anxiety, they continue to reposition as the players of Divine find that higher ground, and that is going to work to the disadvantage of Orange Esports, who are still stuck on that lower ground trying to find those loots for themselves.
I know what you're doing, AJ. You're waiting for it. You are anticipating.
Just waiting.
You are anticipating that
I mean,
time.
if we've got consistency so far, might as well see a bit more of that consistency.
I know you're waiting for fruit picking season. I swear, AJ, that's what's
I
happening.
love orange juice.
I think everyone likes orange juice. If you don't, then you're probably not human.
Yeah.
But
I never knew that if you brush your teeth and then you drink orange juice, it's always bitter. And orange juice used to be the thing that I used to have like the first thing in the morning because the fluoride in your toothpaste reacts with orange juice. Fun fact.
do you prefer orange juice with fluoride or without?
So these days, I just don't brush my teeth in the morning.
Just outed yourself. Don't visit AJ in the morning. You will get morning breath.
Or visit me after my orange juice.
Okay, technically, I think you could still brush your teeth, but that's assuming if you like the orange juice you get in airplanes. You know, the really like bitter, sour orange juice, then okay, you can brush your teeth. It tastes exactly the
I'm
same.
a sweet tooth. I'm a sweet tooth. I like my orange juice sweet.
Alright,
But of course, K9 Esports, they love their Legion dead as they try to take all of these shots against them. But not a single drop found just yet. And the initial engagement continues on here.
Legion.
Blank has another opportunity and Superman drops Lay finally onto the ground. Time Turner pulled out. Lay's going to be brought right back up and there's not much of an effect. But Payne now takes his opportunity to drop Lay down onto the ground. Pan with a suppressive fire to hold back K9 Esports. But K9 Esports doesn't care and Payne shuts down Lay, taking him out of the equation. No more Time Turners, no more glue walls to save the guy. Superman out in the open. Seika misses an open clear shot and Superman now dodges behind the tiny little boulder which technically shouldn't give him much of that cover, but the Time Turner serves him well.
Oh, Norman's driving in. They can't get the shot in. Oh!
No made now as the players of Legion
Superman's
take the higher
down.
ground.
Superman went down.
Superman went down. A Riptide Rhythm takes that glue wall out of the... Ay!
Oh!
I have no idea exactly how he managed to pull that off, but God bless Superman's soul. He got taken out in the most unfortunate of fashion, and Seika uses that as the perfect cue to disengage and find the next circle, potentially to gatekeep the players of K9 Esports and find a little bit of extra revenge, because for now, 1-to-1 trade between the two squads, but I'm pretty sure they're quite annoyed that they got hunted down for so long.
Oh, actually, Warsek's looking like they actually got a kill there onto Abnoy, so RV not going to be too happy with this as they did lose a player, and I'm very certain War6 is on their tail. Okay, looks like RV will be able to get out safely, but big loss actually. Abnoy is a pretty big component of this lineup.
He most definitely is, but it looks like Jampong is all stacked up with those glue walls here. If anything, he has to be the guy who's backing everybody else up. But from the looks of Hades' step here on our screen, he's quite souped up with those glue walls as well. 8 on Hades' step, 9 on Jampong. They've got quite a lot of those defenses to work around with in those later circles.
No. Hard
AKO
to
Ultraman.
get.
Let's see what they get.
They got an AKO. I don't think anyone wants an AKO.
Nobody wants an AKO.
No.
But Batman, he spots out those vigilantes. But sorry, he is the vigilante. What am I talking about? My bad. I'll go back to the drawing block and I'll write down a new script because that's what I do on my drawing blocks.
I didn't know you had drawing blocks. Oh, right then.
Hard to get. They spot out AKO Ultraman and they move the other way just as all teams should.
Yeah. I think it's just better to play a little bit more quietly. Considering that hard to get, they just haven't had any favorable rounds. They haven't been able to place very highly.
Yeah.
They've been punished for being a bit too aggressive. They've been punished for being not as aggressive. So, I mean, what's the balance? If they do both, are they still going to get punished? And it's AKO. I mean, this is a team you don't want to be fighting with for your first engagement.
Yeah, hard to get is just weird, right? Because at one point they just got down because they were taking all the wrong fights in the wrong ways. But these days, they set it up quite well, but just no finisher at the very end. Roy, what a glue wall pulled up. Roy couldn't get the finisher right there with the LMG in hand, and now as he disengages, has a little bit of backup, but Batman puts him down onto the ground. Ares catches Axel as well. AKO Ultraman being snuffed out one after the other, and just when hard to get was about to get countered out, they make their rise right back up to the top. AKO Ultraman right now, too fast, charging up that grenade. JZ, is he gonna get caught out on the other hand? Too fast, what a nade! Ares knocked down onto the ground. JZ tries to finish him off, but a great glue wall will stop him right in his tracks and has to deal with all of the maze of glue walls right in front of him. JZ has the double barrel, cannot miss a single shot. 2-on-1. AKO Ultraman continues to bomb out at the Snapdragon Pro Series.
And AKO got no kills out of that as well. Every player surviving on hard to get. If there's a saving grace, that was it.
And War6 Philippines not allowing the tempo to drop at all for the Shoutcasters as they continue hunting down ORV. And Jampong just continues to disengage. Almost none of those glue walls used up just yet, but it's high time! Those glue walls are popped out right now. War6 Philippines as they chip in their shots one after the other. ORV stubborn, not wanting to waste their glue walls, using Mother Nature as a little bit of cover. Yes, those trees will be able to block off a couple of those shots, but when those flanking positions are taken by War6 Philippines, it's going to be game over. ORV in a lot of trouble now.
Hades step. So it looks like they want to try and rush for this kill here onto Hades, but are they going to get punished for it? They did run in. Oh, they got Jampong.
What? I'm sorry, but what in the world is ORV doing? Not choosing to not engage at all, choosing to not play those defenses. What a bounce! That time turner was pulled out before that nade was released, but that will not punish War6 Philippines at all. Too slow now, getting taken down. Here comes GM Remy to pick up the pieces, and War6 Philippines, they double back down into their glue walls, into their time turners, recover as quickly as possible, and the players of GM Remy just a little bit too far to bring any effect. Spectacular to drop down here by Aguila, and they continue putting out all of this pressure down lane.
Oh, I don't know if they're going to get out of this. If there's a team you don't want to run into, it is GM Remy. This is a team that is on fire. They land their shots. And too slow. Are you going to be too slow to get out of this engagement?
Oh my.
I think so.
Yeah, at this point, you don't want to be K9 Esports as well. Two teams taking them down at the very same time. Anxiety joining hands with another squad chipping down at those players one after the other. But War6 Philippines, on the other hand, manages to disengage and get onto a safer spot. But on their right-hand side, hard to get on the quick approach now. Well, hard to get a little lucky.
Bit of a shocker, but I mean, if you want to play a little bit more defensively, then be my guest, right? And so far,
number of teams up there.
Yeah, I was gonna say this doesn't look like a pizza. This looks like a donut with all that icing.
Let's see exactly who gets the diabetes out there on the battlefield as we throw in a little bit too much of sugar into this mix here. Legion onto the right-hand side, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Orange Esports on the other hand, taking the highest ground possible down here at Clock Tower, a place where they rotated into quite early.
So far, their best game.
Yeah.
This might be a bit of a turnaround here for Orange.
I mean, they dropped in there and they just stayed there the whole time.
Why go anywhere? Be one with the tree.
And when the circle comes to you, embrace it. I don't know who said that, but I just said that. Kanoho, beautiful nade. Basic down onto the ground. Who's next? Kalahari Philippines might as well be the next team who makes their exit towards that lobby as the place of anxiety now take that flanking position from the right-hand side. Double glue walls pulled up. Chessman from across, from afar. Hawkeye, next player to get taken down, but he pulls out a double glue wall yet again to block away those shots. What a strategy by the players of anxiety as they clearly line up their shots with all of those Riptide Rhythm to take down those glue walls one after the other. But anxiety now loses 2 players as they get fired right back and in doubles back down to recover first. And their main point of engagement is to make sure their players are not lost.
So far, no one has been able to take down anxiety. And this is a problem because the fact that they're still alive, they're looting all these bodies as well. So they're going to be so fat going into that final circle. Now, Saving Grace, hard to get. They're so far in their game. But are they going to get punished?
Yeah, spectacular knock. A quick rundown here coming through from Batman. Jay-Z finishes that off, and K9 Esports, unfortunately, out of the equation. Hard to get. They continue moving on in.
7 kills as well. They kill leaders for this round.
Yeah. Beautiful in terms of performance improvement coming through from the players of Hard to Get. I mean, if they were my employees, I would give them a bonus now.
Maybe you wait for the bonus after the booyah happens.
Maybe.
We'll see. We can't reward them a little bit too early. You know, got to give them the incentive. But oh man, this map is still just so insanely cluttered. If you have claustrophobia, I think this is when it starts triggering because there's just no space to move. You can't check any of the other buildings to try and loot because you could get shot down.
Yeah.
It's a tough predicament to be in, but if I'm worried about anyone, it's actually Orange Esports because you are dead center, which means everyone can shoot you.
I, on the other hand, am not worried about Orange Esports because for the first time, after 3 rounds, they have not lost a player early in the first circle.
I mean,
it's no longer the first circle. There's nothing to jinx.
But
I mean, this is the 4th circle.
Teams, AJ. Oh,
it's the 4th circle. Yeah, insanely dropped and now gets taken out of the equation as well. GM Remy for those strikes, and that very first kill for the SWAT comes through from getting the well-performing Hard to Get taken out of the equation. But that's just the first player, and Aguila spots out 2 more running towards the airdrop. Jay-Z outside of the circle. Aguila trying to gatekeep, but a great blue wall pulled out, and that's not going to be a takedown coming through just yet. But the players of GM Remy know exactly what they're aiming down for, and they want those extra kill points.
Oh, God, look at this circle. It's in favor of GM Remy. They don't really have to worry about anyone except for that poor EVC. They're not going to be too happy. I hate to say it. They're going down. You know, you see GM Remy see you dead.
Eva Continue has got the opportunity to get lucky here because all they need to do is just barricade themselves with those glue walls and wait for the other remaining squads, the other 6 squads, to make their way through that body of water, which will force GM Remy to open fire because those are easy pickings, and that is going to be the opportunity for Eva Continue to get in towards the next circle. If strategy is played right, Eva Continue might be able to get a back-to-back good round for themselves and recover in the competition. GM Remy, on the other hand, just needs to stay put. Goku, great knockdown onto Batman, and Orange Esports slowly finding their strides in this matchup as well.
Are they going to get a little too ahead of themselves, right? Because we did see Orange get punished very, very early on in the previous rounds. And I mean, hard to get. Both of these teams are kind of in a similar predicament, right?
Yeah.
They've been punished. So out of these 2 teams, who's going to punish the other?
Well, Orange Esports better hope that they are the punishers because if there's one thing that I do know, they desperately need points out there on the battlefield.
Down.
But what a grenade coming through from Tom, knocking Batman down onto the ground, but Goku himself gets knocked. Here comes Divine to chip into this battle as well, but he will get picked right back up, all thanks to the one and only Rosso X, who is right there behind him. But yet another shot from the side of Ares this time round, but a response grenade comes through from Tom outside of the circle. How long more can Orange Esports sustain? The answer is not long at all, as GM Remy chips in the final shot. McRory gets taken down. The players of Legion fighting back as hard as they can against the players of Anxiety, but to no avail. Anxiety takes them out of the equation in the 7th spot. The players of Hard to Get still surviving. A good grenade can remove that from the situation. Good shots coming through after the nade is spot. Aguila doing so much back-to-back for the GM Remy squad.
Jay-Z, can Jay-Z punish Aguila here? It looks like they're going to try and go for the resurrection.
Regular Max 7 has got the auto shotgun. Timing is going to be essential here, but a glue wall pulled out. Backup is there as well. Aguila steps on and finds the crack between all of those glue walls. Puts down yet another player down onto the ground with the assistance of Ritus. Aguila finishes one off. Time Turner pulled out by the final sustaining player on the side of hard to get, the one and only Jay-Z. Bobbing, weaving in and out of the Time Turner, but its time runs out as GM Remy puts an end to that engagement. Divine, on the other hand, trying to spot out the players of the GM Remy outside of the circle before they move themselves inside as well. Anxiety, on the other hand, still playing the game of survival, have got 10 points on the kill leaderboard so far. Xenopi, he's got the grenade launcher. It had, oh my lord, but a good trade coming back through.
What is up with these circles? They're
And my
just in
grammar.
favor of GM Remy. I mean, they're just landing right next to them. And I mean, yeah, Anxiety comes second, but still, it's the top two teams.
It is what it is. Anxiety, they get taken down, and GM Remy score yet another booyah in the competition. You know exactly who the top dogs are
The front
by
runners.
this time.
Oh yeah, I think at this point we're basically stuck with the top two teams for, I want to say, the rest of the day. There's no way you dethrone Anxiety and GM Remy regardless.
And that is why we really appreciate the format of the Snapdragon Pro Series Season 1 Open Finals. Not only do we get 6 back-to-back matches, but we get 2-day of finals, right? Which just keeps the battles out there wide open. Yes, you can dominate on day number 1, but that comeback is most definitely going to be possible on day number 2. And yes, Anxiety feels like they've done all right, but here comes GM Remy out of nowhere.
I mean, it doesn't matter. They still got second, so it's not like they're really closing the gap, are they? But if anything,
With quite a lot of kills too.
yes. I mean, if I was Anxiety, I'd be sitting there thinking, oh man, I wish this was a one-day grand final, you know, because you would have locked in that $3,000.
Wouldn't
but
you like that, Anxiety? But yeah, you got to work for it, and it looks like they're working really, really hard.
Yeah.
Once again, I think that they have really done their homework during the league stages for a team that got outperformed one too many times during the league stage. They seem to be on a roll here at the grand finals.
But does that ball keep rolling? Because we still have more games for today. That was our second round of Bermuda. We are still running to Kalahari next. And then, of course, we do have Purgatory after that. And 6 more games tomorrow. We got a lot to do. So even though we're looking at a very massive lead, I do think GM Remy and Anxiety could potentially plunge back to planet Earth after their dream runs.
Absolutely. And speaking of dream runs, if you guys want to have dream runs of your own, all of this action is brought through by one brand, that is Snapdragon Elite Gaming. When winning matters, you want to pick it up for yourself. And if you need an extra boost of energy, who else or where else can you look to? Monster Energy allows you to take your game up to the next level. Unleash the beast from within, and check out their website so you can find out more about them.
So how do you release your beast? Do you go, rah?
I scream, I shout.
You scream and shout.
Day in, day out, I scream for the players. I give them the motivation and energy to fight out there on the battlefield with my voice.
And also to give some energy to our viewers as well. If you haven't already, do join our Discord community. If you have any questions about the tournament, do let us know. One of the admins will be able to answer your questions and speak to all the other people within the community, you know. But as you join our Discord community, yes, you should. We are going to go for a quick break as we do prepare to jump into our next matchup, our 5th map of the day, Kalahari. But before then, we'll see you after this break.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and Monster Energy. Snapdragon Elite Gaming and Monster Energy.
Look at my shine with the glow. This is my time with it though. This is my time to be way at the top. Me and my guys gon' pay out the block. I don't look like wall. Time's right, and I know the sea is walking in a line. Promise you gon' wanna watch like a sci-fi. My guys are high rises, high tide. My crown if you come to my side. I pledge allegiance for lifetime. My squad connected like Wi-Fi. We grind and you see the highlights. This my life. It ain't a game now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. Wasn't invited, say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Don't step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah, out of the way. now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out of the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way.
Welcome back to the Free Fire Snapdragon Pro Series Season 1 Open Finals. That's a mouthful, but I am the Mustachio AJ down here with the one and only Danley, bringing you guys this exciting broadcast. And I tell you, man, I've been getting anxiety because just when you thought one team has been breaking away from the rest of the competition, here comes GM Remy to say, no, we are still gonna keep you guys divided as to who's gonna be sweeping the competition off of its feet, because they come back in through with the exact same type of solid performance.
But it's, I hate to say it, I don't think it's enough to dethrone Anxiety, because Anxiety did have 2 very good rounds, but we still have 2 more games to go. So anything can happen, right? Someone might be falling from heaven. Someone might be going to heaven. Whether the good or the bad way, I don't know. It's up to the teams. But we have some very exciting games lined up. Next is going to be Kalahari. And we all know that Kalahari, out of all the maps in the map pool, it probably plays the most different just because of the elevation.
Correct.
The grapple as well, being able to utilize that high ground. So I'm wondering, now that we're going into our second round of Kalahari, who do we actually think is actually going to utilize the high ground the most? Because so far, we saw in Bermuda just now, everyone wanted to play in the center of the circle.
And that would be my answer as well, right? Anyone who sees that high ground, they know that when you step on into Kalahari, at this stage of the competition, you need that advantage for yourself.
So
if it's available, they're going to be hopping on in there. But you know, they might not want to overstay their welcome. But look at the kind of consistency that we are getting in the competition. GM Remy, Anxiety, I mean, they are 2 peas in a pod. They don't want to get away from each other. Their performances are so close to each other as well. But Anxiety really keeping up the pressure, just like how GM Remy did in the previous round as well against them.
Well, I do want to talk about a different team. A team that has struggled, but did pretty well during this round. And that was Hard to Get. We've seen this team getting punished for the past 3 rounds. They do finally finish high with 7 kills to their name. And I'm curious to know, is Hard to Get going to be one of our top contenders moving on? Because they've been punished quite a lot. But here's the thing with Hard to Get, and this has been an issue with the team historically. The consistency is not there.
Yeah, correct.
They're very hot and cold.
Yeah, unfortunately, Hard to Get is the team that hyper focuses on the meta of the season and then, you know, invest all of their time, all of their days working on that meta. And when the meta shifts just a little bit in Free Fire, they get left behind, right? And I feel like the team hasn't recovered fully from such meta shifts. And that's the main reason for the inconsistency, because they've got great players, they've got great individual talent within the team, but they just have not changed some of their strategies from the days of past, right? They're kind of just still stuck in time. And, you know, the situation out there on the battlefield kind of decides a lot. But GM Remy, look at them. I mean, when you see Anxiety stepping things up with the damage segment as well, you see GM Remy doing the exact same thing. This time through 11 kills, and more than 90% of that came through headshots. How insane is that?
I wanted to say it's a statistic, but
I'm
that's
sorry.
fine, you just stole my thunder, it's okay.
I'm sorry.
But I mean, this is to be expected after that round. I mean, if you're getting 11 kills, headshots guarantee the kills, basically. So Yeah, so for GM Remy, if there's a team to look out for, yes, there's anxiety, but GM Remy, close contender. Now, unfortunately, there is an unfortunately to this story. They were only able to offset the gap between them and anxiety by about 4 points.
Yeah.
So catching up, they've still got a lot of work to do if they want to get that $3,000. But at this point, they're comfortably sitting in line for 2,000 in second place. So
And
it's not so bad.
it's a little brilliant because the team that we have seen make the biggest improvement so far very clearly is anxiety, right? And you brought up a great point where they are quite good at getting those kills out there in the battlefield. And what really, caused a little bit of an upset in terms of them rising up the leaderboard during the league stage is their inability or the lack of ability of getting as many kill or placement points, I have to say, for themselves. This time around at the grand finals, that's what they focus on, right? Not only do they get super aggressive, but they continuously find that final circle. But this is what the other teams should be hoping and praying for, that as anxiety gets a little overconfident with their approaches, that they get taken down prematurely. And that's going to just open up the competition for the rest of them. Because although there's a good lead from anxiety, teams like GM Remy clearly can catch up, and Divine, they're not too far. Teams like Divine and AKO Ultraman just need one solid booyah for themselves to be right back in the race.
Speaking of booyah, I mean, who's going to get the next one? Because so far, Anxiety and GM Remy have been the ones to hog all the booyahs, right? We've had 4 rounds, and these two teams have got 2 apiece.
Yeah.
So if history repeats itself, it should be Anxiety to get this next booyah.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's if it happens. We don't know exactly if it will, but someone else is going to take it at some point, and it's going to be a big boost to any of these teams from 3rd to 6th because those 12 points are game-changing, position-changing. You're going to rise up on the leaderboard. So who's going to get it next? They got these top 2 teams. They got to share. They're not sharing.
Well, let's see if or not we'll be able to find out anything from Ritus as the Barcasters interviews him right next on this segment.
In one day. So, what's actually happened?
Ritus, ano nangyari today na nakadalawang buya kayo?
Siguro dahil sa bilog, nagpabor sa amin, tapos blue zone pa yung kaya kompleto yung items namin. Good disposition pa.
Ritus mentioned that it was dependent on the circle and then the blue zone, and that he had complete equipment throughout the game. That's why it helped them get the booyah.
So, what we can see that GM Remy always go for the blue zone. Is that like your fixed strategy or it's depend on the location?
Palagi daw kayo nagbo-blue zone. Strategy nyo ba yon or depende sa lokasyon nyo?
Opo, isa sa strategy namin para makakuha ng magandang tabi tapos yung sniper.
Yeah, that's Ritu said that's one of their strategies to get a good position and as well as the sniper.
Nampak je. Betul macam apa Abi yang katakan, mereka memang suka mencari sniper. So, I just want to know GM Remy. So, since you guys already have 2 booyah, so we have 2 more games. Is it going to be another 2 booyah for GM Remy, or maybe you give 1 booyah to other teams and then 1 more you guys take?
Ano daw sa tingin nyo sa next 2 games? Makakadalawang buya ba kayo or isang buya tapos yung isang game ibibigay na sa ibang team?
Gagawin po namin lahat ng mga kaya namin para makuha yung 2 buya.
Ritu said that they're gonna do their best as a team to actually secure the next 2 buyas for their team.
Alright. My last question to you. Since you guys are winning hard, so is there anything you guys want to say to Eva Continue, since you guys are wearing Eva Continue jersey?
Ano daw masasabi niyo sa Eva Continue kasi sinusuot niyo daw yung logo ng Eva Continue ngayon? Ano daw masasabi niyo sa Eva Continue kasi yun nga suot niyo yung logo ng Eva Continue ngayon?
Wala pa kasi nga na new jersey. Sabihin mo all jersey namin.
Ritus were saying that they still don't have a new jersey. That's why they're reusing their old Eva Continue jerseys. But they wish them Eva Continue the best.
I see. Alright, thank you so much GM Remy, and good luck for the future.
Good luck.
Hindi man nagsabi.
Do you think they're going to share the booyahs?
If you ask me, do I want to give
trigger is
away
there.
my last 2 years to someone else? The answer is going to be no. I want it all for myself. I'm a spoiled child like that, right? I want
You're
all the
greedy.
booyahs. But I guess that's exactly what GM Remy wants for themselves as well. They don't really want to share the booyahs. I understand where the boy is coming from. But Anxiety has got obviously some things to say about that. And some of the other teams that haven't really been able to secure the booyahs for themselves are feeling a little left out. I think they will be stepping it up in this final 2 matches. I mean, it's about time, right? If you wanted to start things slow, if you didn't want to take all of those crazy risks just yet, it's high time you do because the day is coming to an end.
Day's coming to an end, but AJ, we've still got 2 more games to go.
Yes, we do. And of course, we want to know your thoughts as well. Please do let us know exactly who you think is doing great, who you think is doing bad, who do you think should give away their booyahs in the competition with the following hashtag, the hashtag Snapdragon Pro Series in the comment section, and have a chance to get featured on our broadcast.
Yeah, and if you haven't already and you are tuning into our Twitch stream, make sure you submit your predictions. Who do you think is going to be winning on this map? We are jumping into Kalahari. Is it Anxiety? It could be Anxiety again. Is it GM Remy? It could be GM Remy again as well. If history repeats itself, it should be Anxiety because they have been taking turns getting these booyahs.
I'm getting anxiety thinking about it, but of course...
Puns stop. Oh gosh,
But
it
of
never
course,
ends.
We have to find out for ourselves. And I'm kind of getting sick of GM Remy and Anxiety, right? I want them both to get taken down early. Some other team, please step up onto the battlefield and show us that Free Fire, the Snapdragon Pro Series, is not just up to 2 squads because we know they have it in them. Because if they allow these 2 teams to continuously dominate, I think tomorrow's not going to be enough time.
I don't know. I feel like GM Remy and Anxiety, after hearing that, they're just going to spike.
The boys love me. They know I love them too. This is like great motivation for them to continuously keep their pressure up, right? Once again,
gosh.
GM Remy, we told you guys we'll call it as it is. And so far, the consistency has not been good enough because you're allowing Anxiety to pick up all of the booyahs.
Yeah.
Stop sharing.
What do you mean stop sharing? Just take them. All right, I do believe we're going to jump into our 5th game of the day. We're going back onto Kalahari. It's hot, it's sandy, it's steep, and it's hot. The question is, are the teams going to be playing more towards the center of the map again? Because we did see on Bermuda just now, everyone did gravitate towards the center in anticipation of that circle. And we are going to be going from the northern side of the map towards the southern side. Any hot drops? This map is hot, so it kind of calls for it, and we might see something.
Oh, GM Remy! Straight away, moving on to the compound of Hard to
That's
Get.
terrible. Look where Batman is.
But the beautiful part about this is GM Remy knowing, understanding
Hang
that the
on,
players are already
but there's
moving on in there.
orange.
They break away and they move straight in towards confinement, towards the arms of Orange Esports, which is wide open. And this could be a disaster for Orange Esports because from what we have seen, history will tell us that Orange Esports in situations like this get a little nervous.
But we need to see who shoots first. If anyone's shooting first, right? I think
Yeah.
if you're orange, you'll dodge.
Yeah.
If you're hard to get, you'll probably dodge as well because
Yeah.
we've seen historically what's happened when they tried to fight another team.
I mean,
So,
you
hang
hope
on.
they'll dodge.
Fair.
Fuhrer.
Hard to get. Interesting. Okay, so they're going to be the ones to make that first move, but can they finish it?
Yeah, and Hard to Get, they are getting super aggressive now as they try to hunt down the players of GM Remy. JC from afar is going to just light up the airdrop as quickly as possible.
Wow.
Führer down on the ground. No finisher coming through just yet as Führer just crawls behind the tiny little boulder. Insane cannot find the flank on the right-hand side as he gets blocked off by the window,
They're
but the
bailing.
rescue team is just a little too slow. Führer's running out of time.
No, I think they're bailing. I mean, look at the map. No one is making a move. So it just seems like they're just going to sacrifice for her, maybe. Unless Ritus wants to come in last minute, but nah, I think this is just too risky. So interesting. GM Remy are going to be going into Kalahari with 3 players. They're healing. They're healing for her.
Yeah, and it looks like they've got a medic gun on themselves, so they've
It's
managed to
Ritus.
heal up Führer in the nick of time before he runs out of HP and bleeds out. But as you can see, the players of Hard to Get know what exactly is happening out there on the battlefield, and
Yeah,
Insane finds the flank, taking Führer out of the equation, making all of the efforts from the rest of the players of GM Remy absolutely useless. And as Hard to Get now stirs the hornet's nest, they quickly run away because they know exactly what comes following.
They know who they're going up against, remember,
Yeah.
right? Because they see the kill feed. They know it's GM Remy. So it's like, I'm out of here. But it'll be a pretty interesting match now for GM Remy if they continue on with their aggression or if they maybe play a little bit more slowly. But I thought it was an interesting decision, right? Because Hard to Get would have seen that it was GM Remy to begin with. And to see the healing, or at least the fact that he wasn't going down, for her at least.
Yeah, this is going to be a mind-boggling situation if Anxiety actually does get this next Booyah, because then...
It won't be mind-boggling.
I mean,
History
it's
is repeating itself.
like just swinging back and forth between these two teams, and now with GM Remy losing a player so early in this matchup, what better situation or what better setup for the players of Anxiety rage on towards that final circle looking for the Booyah. But of course, nothing's guaranteed just yet, and the players of Anxiety, as they continue to loot up as best as they can, they will be lucky because nobody else around their vicinity to engage them as they move on into the next compound. Wasik Philippines, on the other hand, holding on to the high ground. One of the things that you definitely want to do if you are at Kalahari.
All right, AJ, it's time to chill. You know, kick your feet up. It's going to be a slow game. I mean, we did see on the map, right? No one was really going to be running into anybody, so...
Except Decos. Except Decos, who runs into two bodies.
He will... Oh, Rosso. Rosso, what's happening?
Don't do it, Orange. Don't do it, Orange.
What season is it? Is it winter, autumn? I can understand why the oranges are full then, but...
Yeah. Whatever season it is, it's just not conducive
Not
for
the orange
oranges to
season.
grow. In fact, the oranges are just dropping off of the trees one after the other. But in this situation, it looks like the gardener is out there making his rounds, trying to help the oranges out. And Decos not helping himself out much at all. Newbie trying to take a couple of shots as he aims it upwards, but no one has been spotted on the broadcast just yet. Orange Esports, they disengage and try to get over to the next corner of the map, avoiding engagement with GM Remy. One of the best things that Orange Esports has done all day.
Yeah, I think GM Remy will catch sight of them as they run up that hill, so...
Please don't, GM Remy. Please don't.
What do you mean don't?
I mean, like, pity them, man. I mean, Orange Esports already had a hard time, right? They back away. The last thing they need is someone shooting at their backs, right?
Of all the teams, GM Remy as well, right? It's like, that team needs more points. Great. Let's focus on some of the underdog teams. I mean, we're literally looking at K9 just now. Oh, okay, we're back onto orange.
And then who's next? Kalasak Philippines, very close to Orange Esports. Everybody wants Orange Esports. What in the world is going on here? And who's next?
I mean, it's dinner time. Who wants to have orange now?
Yeah, but Santa Catarina, we've seen this become the stronghold of teams like GeekFam in the past. But, you know, in the hands of Orange Esports, what sort of a setup can they work
Rein
with
it
here?
in. Decos, rein it in. Don't
They've
do
got
it.
a good defensive spot, and let's go with the left-hand flank as he tries to maneuver around with his motorcycle. Hope to God that he doesn't get caught out by the players of GM Remy, because that's going to quickly break down this little engagement. Look at who's next. He's making the long way around. He literally wants to flank them from the left.
Hang on, Pan is on the watchtower. Oh!
Oi!
Oi!
Oh no!
He didn't finish. Okay.
Oi! Pan.
No! Pan, go bam, bam. Oh.
I mean, good job, Anxiety, but, you know, they didn't really manage to take full advantage of GM Remy losing one player early on. And this is exactly what I was talking about as well. As these players at the very top of the leaderboard get super confident with their approaches in these matches, that's going to be the opening for all of the other teams to catch up, right? Because the overconfidence does you a disservice most of the time. And who's next? Kalasak Philippines. Talk about a repositioning. The perfect flanking position around Santa Catarina. They had to travel a lot. Now let's see if all of that effort will pay out. As Hawkeye now has got the vehicle, motorcycle, cuts down the distance. Let's go, steps on up with the farmers, but Goku has got the Mag 7. Glue wall pulled out and he disengages right away.
Oh, I was so scared for Decos there. He actually decided to stand on a barrel and he almost lost his head there. Good thing he managed to get down, but Orange Esports... We've seen how these engagements happen the first time round. Let's hope history doesn't repeat itself. Maybe they'll be the ones to be able to grab these kills.
Russell X.
Your dope. If they can snipe your dope, they'll be perfect because he is not in a position to get revived.
But Yado's not really in a great position at the moment to take any one of these shots because that elevation is just not going to do him any favors unless one of these players from the side of Orange Esports hops on up. Yeah, exactly. Which isn't something that I would expect them to do. But look at Decos doing exactly that. As I say, he's not going to do it. What in the world just happened?
He did it again. He stood on a barrel. He almost got sniped. He stands on the top.
I give up. Orange Esports. Like, I never mind. Yado from afar manages to get that beautiful knock. Let's go now. Has got the beautiful shotgun in his hands to make all of this work for the squad, but does not use it to best efficiency. Tom as well as Goku back to back. Who's next? Kalahari Philippines now only have Yado to work around with, and it's all about the timing. He lets go first shot, second shot. Goku, can he finish it off? Time Turner stops that player, and Goku does not get the finisher.
The fact that Yadope wasn't with the team! They fumbled the ball! Orange Esports, what a victory!
Because he made the biggest mistake of them all, but that mistake was...
what if it was on purpose?
Yeah, that mistake was the biggest delivery of a great present that Orange Esports did not expect, because that baited the whole of the Who's Next Kalahari Philippines squad to come through for a quick push, and things just broke down. Back to back right there.
What if this was a major big brain play? So they make you a dope think, oh, they're going to stand on stuff. I'm going to be able to snipe from a distance. I don't need to go in.
For the self-confidence of Orange Esports, I'm going to go with that storyline.
They big brained it. Oh.
Chessman, on the other hand, big braining everybody else by taking the highest ground possible, right? Now, he's got the perfect view in towards all of those watchtowers, but what he does not have is control to look right down below, as he has the players from the side of K9 Esports taking over their compound little by little. Chessman will be able to keep the pressure on Normain and squad, but Toby alongside Barba needs to catch up with him, and Toby knocks Normain down onto the ground. A beautiful opener coming through from the players of Anxiety.
Oh, this is a bit scary. You're still going up against Anxiety. Normain does get picked up luckily, so K9 are going to have their entire roster to work with. But Anxiety, are they still going to come towards this? It looks like Anxiety want to be the aggressors here. They're getting closer.
It's a little too long to still have 11 teams surviving out there on the battlefield, so it's
Kalahari.
about time.
Hey, it's Kalahari. What do you expect?
It's about time someone gets taken down.
We do have some deaths at least, you know. It's not a perfect round.
Absolutely. So. I mean, I'll take 8 better than none out there at all, right? But the players of K9 Esports trying to not add on to that statistic and trying to stay alive as long as possible. ORV holding on to a ground that's even higher than the players before. Warsic Philippines as they reposition. ORV catches hold of them, but the bridge being played to the advantage of the players of Warsic Philippines as they understand this terrain well, and that disables ORV and all of their pressure. Warsic Philippines very smartly uses that as cover.
Oh, okay. Eva actually engaging into AKO. And interesting, AKO are the ones to sort of back up here. I know Axel's on the in the watchtower. It seems like he's going to move. He says this is useless. You know, there's too many buildings.
Yeah.
It's close to the team. But
I mean, after a horrible day, you would expect AKO to kind of back away from all of these engagements, right? Every time they thought they're going to luck out, they just got taken down. So
I mean, they got lucked out by a river at one point. That was their best round, right? So
that's like the gods of RNG themselves telling you, AKO Ultraman, to calm down is not your day.
Cannot play Free Fire today. He's like, die. All right, that's not a nice way to die.
Nope,
but we are still looking at 11 teams, 41 players. That is a number of people to be alive. And so far, most of the action is actually towards the southwest side of the map as well. It is incredibly crowded here, and Anxiety are only down to 2 players, Chessman and Toby.
Yep, just playing all of the chances as best that they can. But unfortunately, they do get caught out. Chessman up on top. Does have the grappling hook to play around with. So Payne shuts down Toby. Chessman out by Patpan. Legion finally gets a little bit of revenge against the players of Anxiety. Finally out there on the battlefield. And Anxiety back-to-back Booyah. They may pick up out there on the battlefield. But against multiple teams at the same time, luck is not going to be on their side. AKO Ultraman. Ritu's down on the ground. Looks like this might just be the time for the Ultraman squad, as 2 of the teams that pick up all of those booyahs available from the day get sliced out of the equation, one after the other.
You are kidding me. Our
GG.
front runners are getting cut down today. Not today, this game.
Yeah,
Just this game.
Like I said, right, after a great performance, it's about time you get overconfident. Both the squads getting overconfident, and obviously luck just not on their side. They were punished.
The Booyah is now open.
Yeah.
Free for all. No longer going to be stuck with GM Remy and Anxiety. So we'll have to see who's in a really good position for this next circle, because we're only at the 3rd one. So
Oh, good spot. Jump on. But we have to hop on over to Divine as well as Orange Esports. Orange Esports being gate kept outside of the circle now as Divine. Unfortunately, that glue wall will be blocking Shura inside of the container as he breaks out and looks for a player around him. Spots absolutely no one as Divine doubles back down. The players of Orange Esports managing to flank over to the left-hand side and remain surviving. But as they get away from Divine, straight into the hands of K9 Esports, they might just end up. Aries on the other side, from the side of Hard to Get, finds the bullet of AKO. Lemon, the in-game leader, takes Batman out of the equation as well as Hard to Get continuously loses players to the side of AKO. But they are just knocks. No kills coming through just yet. And from what we can see out there on the kill feed, AKO might have been able to save their players, but those shots, man, from the side of Wasik Philippines as well as Hard to Get, back-to-back, AKO is now pinsid.
Yeah, we are also looking at some of our gatekeepers, right? We've got 3 teams comfortably nestled in that new circle. It's now down to everyone else to try and make it in, and we have 9 teams remaining, so it's going to be a really big ask for everyone to get in here because the new circle, no, it's dry, it's flat, there's nothing. You've got to build a house there, which glue house, and only a couple teams have a lot of glue walls to work with. So we'll have to see. We know K9 is comfortably in. I don't know if they're in a good position to actually punish Orange or DVN here.
At this point, the
oh,
players
sure is down.
want to break out into song. Do you want to build a glue house? Sure. Blank opportunity. Newbie dropped down onto the ground.
No.
K9 Esports back to back now. They managed to find those players. Divine getting sliced out of the equation. Looks like they're not so divine out there as they take on 2 squads at the very same time. Eva continue on the other hand, falling to the players of ORV as they hold on to their high ground advantage, but overstaying their welcome. The players of ORV might just get caught out here, as if you look at the circle on the top left-hand corner, the players of ORV now have to hop straight into the hands of Eva Continue.
And if you see in the very corner, we have that one last player from Orange who I think Tom, unfortunately, is going to go down. Payne is here with him, and he will win that engagement. So Orange, 9th place again. They wanted to place higher, but it just seems like Kalahari is not going to be their map. But oh my goodness, what is happening here?
Yeah, Divine is still alive through all of those back-to-back engagements earlier on, but now against Legion, Divine newbie with a God nade on the head of Seika, but the time turner is pulled out. Pan unfortunately gets barricaded inside of the glue wall. Hard to Get gets eliminated in the 8th spot, but Legion still holding up strong against the Divine players. And now 2 final surviving members on the side of Legion. Pan gets taken out of the equation. AKO Ultimate chips on in. Wasik Philippines from the back. AKO Ultraman out of the equation because Wasik Philippines finally stepped things up, and Legion still surviving through all of that against Divine.
Oh man, Divine are looking to be in a pretty good position. This is another team that was technically in that top 6 placing, so
Oh,
not
nice. Nice.
Not if you're going to be taken down by Seika. They do need to eliminate him before they can get that pickup. So this they will not lose. Oh, Shura's down too.
Yep, Shura's down, Newbie's down. The whole team of Divine gets taken out of the equation.
But look at this, K9.
You see what we meant about overstaying your welcome. ORV has nowhere to go, and now the circle is going to start moving. And in fact, the circle has already started moving. So ORV, as they now need to hop on up, Wasik Philippines and Eva Continue. They do battle with each other. ORV trying to play their time as long as possible before being forced off of their platform, but the time is up. K9 Esports, on the other hand, they smell nobody around them.
I don't know if they don't smell anybody around them. They're smelling kills.
Yeah.
They've got all 4 players alive. Oh, we do have 1 knockdown here onto ORV. And ORV Tyrants, they're knocked out in 4th place. 3 teams left, 9 players remaining, and 4 of them are K9.
And that is what happens when you overstay your welcome at some of these platforms. The circle will be the punisher, and the circle eliminating ORV in that 4th spot. K9 Esports, on the other hand, still not wanting to take any advantage in this situation at all, waiting for the players of Wasik Philippines to engage with Eva Continue. Double nades being popped out here by Payne, and that finds absolutely no one. All of those ice nades are just going to be forcing them to reposition just a little bit, and Eva Continue taking advantage now at this spot, and Wasik Philippines being sandwiched between 2 teams. Toxic gets the kill onto Takula. Payne has got the Max 7, tries to chase down the final player from the side of Wasik and puts him down. Eva Continue out of the equation. K9 Esports secures the booyah.
It was finally coming. They were going to get it at some point, and God, this was a beautiful game for K9. I think the positioning was perfect. The circle, absolutely. They've been saving this. I swear they did this at the beginning of the day. Someone's is upside down.
Yeah, that guy in school.
Bro.
That guy in your class.
That one person.
But yeah, man, this is K9 Esports. I mean, clearly they've been planning this the whole day. And pity the boys, because they looking for their eternal Carduo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. He's looking for a partner in-game, out-of-game, potentially as well. So hit him up. I mean, he's got his ID right there already. And if you guys want to be carried in the game of Free Fire, you know exactly who to add now.
Carried.
Yeah.
Samuel carried.
And clearly they can win Free Fire games.
Yes, AJ, absolutely can. But I mean, if anything, K9, this is something that they've been asking for all day.
Yes. I mean, clearly they prepared all of that.
I was going to say. Well, the question is, do they start with those signs from the beginning of the day? Or maybe they had one of the breaks, they were like, oh, let's prepare the signs.
No. I'm pretty sure looking at their faces, looking at those gleeful smiles, they were waiting for this the whole day. And it might have been a disappointment after round number 4
if they
because
don't
they
use
were like,
it at all.
are we not going to get any booyahs whatsoever? The opportunities just come in. And finally, round 5, they secure it. But maybe we will be able to find if they've planned this any further or, you know, they just plan one step ahead. Because if they have no signs after winning round 6, if they win round 6, then we'll know.
Well, the thing is, we might have that question asked, right? If we have the interview, which I'm assuming we will, I'm hoping the BM side, they do ask that for us. Did you have the sign at the beginning of the day?
Potentially might be the question, or are you looking for booyahs tomorrow? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to take a quick short break. When we come back, the final round of the day.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and Monster Energy.
Look at my shine with the glow. This is my time with it though. This is my time to be way at the top. Me and my guys gon' pay out the block. I don't look like boss. Time's right, and I know the sea is walking in the limelight. Promise you gon' wanna watch like a sci-fi. My guys are high risers, high tide. Might drown if you come to my side. I pledge allegiance for lifetime. My squad connected like Wi-Fi. We grind and you see the highlights. This my life. It ain't a game now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way.
Welcome back to the Free Fire Snapdragon Pro Series. My name is AJ. I'm the Mustachio down here with the one and only Danley. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is day number 1 of the finals. And we thought it was going to be dominated all out by just 2 teams, Anxiety as well as GM Remy. But lo and behold, those were the 2 teams that got taken out super early in round number 5.
And in round 5, who let the dogs out? Woo! 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 Okay, it's just me. It's just like really awkward. But speaking of K9, I do believe we are going to be jumping into an interview with the team. And I believe it's going to be with Blank, which if it's ready, let's jump into it right now. No, not yet. All right, so they're still prepping.
Yeah.
But we do have our own questions. It's now ready. All right.
It's now ready. Let's go.
Hello.
Hello.
All right.
Hello, sir.
Okay. So who is this Basha?
Oh, Basha. Who is this Basha? Hey, can I get a shout out too?
Wait, what's this? Shout out to Akihira. Oh my god. But looking for dynamic duo. Okay. So my question to you, my first question, have you guys prepared this from the very beginning or you guys just write this down? Oh.
Yes, of course. We already prepared it because we know we will get booyah.
Oh. Okay. So other than the 2 others, is the guy the only guy is single guy because still looking for dynamic duo?
Oh yeah, he's single now.
Oh, single. you know what we say? You know what we say in Malaysia if you single?
What?
You noob. No girlfriend. Okay. K9. First 4 games not performing well. And then actually if you want to know, me and my co-caster here, we predict that this game K9 will get booyah and you guys get booyah. So what happened?
In the first 4 games, we are nervous and we still getting our thoughts like the previous league stage.
I see. So I just want to know, for the second game, for the last game, is it going to be another booyah for you guys or?
Yes, we will get another booyah because we want 2 booyahs for today.
Okay, but what about tomorrow? Can you guys score another booyah for tomorrow?
Booyah. Yes, we will get another booyah tomorrow.
How many booyah in total?
In total, we will get probably 6 booyah.
Oh!
Banyak.
Alright. So thank you so much for the interview. Again, shout out to Basha. Shout out to Akihira. And what is Only Mashi? Oh, this is your girlfriend name.
Yes, Only
Mashi. And then sorry for the guy behind there, no girlfriend.
Looking for dynamic duo. Come on, add thing.
Okay, looking for dynamic duo. Alright, guys. If you guys have time, go for it, guys. Alright, thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. And good luck.
Good luck.
Can I say we probably witnessed the best interview today?
I'm just missing out, right? Because I wish I could speak to them. But, you know, a little bit of a correction. It is not widely known in Malaysia that if you're single, you're a noob. So that's the only correction. Because sometimes if you're single, you know, it's a choice, all right? It's a choice. Sometimes people get to choose.
Okay, for all you know, it could just be an equal to thing. So...
Round standings, guys. Let's take a look and see exactly who dominated the previous round. K9 Esports with 23 points up on that number 1 spot. Followed by Warsick Philippines, grabbing those 9 placement points alongside 5 kills in the 14. EVA continues to improve in their grand finals run here as they pick up the 3rd spot this time around with 11 points. Followed by Divine in that 4th place with 10. ORV Tyrants, this is that one team that scraped through the league stages into the finals, and now they are really working hard for the lion's share of that prize pool. But AKO Ultraman, as much as they shine at the league stage, they seemed a little bit dull out there on the battlefield.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, I think this is all right. At least they're grabbing points this round. They're not going to be ending towards that bottom end of the bracket, right? So before we jump into our next matchup, let's take a look very quickly at the stats here for K9 Esports. And the numbers here are very peculiar, right? Let's ignore the survival time because this is expected for the team that gets the booyah. They got 11 kills, but they only had 4,901 damage, which, okay, if you're probably thinking, wait, why is this a problem? The average number of damage we've seen for this many kills is about 6,000. So it seems like K9, they got the majority of their kills through headshots or maybe vulturing.
Yeah.
So
the problem is actually a good thing here because they are very efficient with their bullets. It takes them lesser bullets, lesser damage to grab the kills. I'll take that.
It could go both ways, right? I mean, if they're vulturing, then
they're really good at vulturing.
Yeah, so no comment. But the good news here for K9 Esports as well is that they are sitting in third place with 57 points. Now, because GM Remy didn't do so well in that previous round, the gap's closed. So they are actually at risk of potentially losing that second place. And that's a big drop, right? Because second place is $2,000. Third is, I think, $1,000. So that's $1,000 difference.
And basically, they're staying true to our statement earlier on, where a single solid booyah picked up by any one of these teams in the top 3 all the way down to the top 6 should be able to put them right back into the race of the grand finals for the podium finish and also that #1 spot. And K9 Esports are living up to that suspicion, right? 57 points, just 2 behind GM Remy, who unfortunately bombed out super early the previous round, alongside Anxiety as well. So that's a little unfortunate for the top 2 teams. But I guess they've done enough to mess up one single round. Hopefully they do make a comeback in round number 6, or else they are going to get Anxiety because they have lost what they very, very, very hard fervently built up earlier in the day. Divine in the 4th place with the 45 points, followed by AKO, Ultraman, and Warsick Philippines, 42 apiece in that 5th and 6th place.
Yeah, we do need to remember as well, it's not just top 3 that the teams are aiming for. You're looking for top 6 because if you manage to make top 6 at the end of the weekend, then you're going to automatically qualify for next season, which, AJ, I cannot say the number. What is the point difference between 6 and 7?
Well, 6 and 7, there's 36 points versus 42, so we're talking about 6 points of a difference here between EVA Continue as well as Warsick Philippines. So
I mean, that's a tiny gap.
Yeah, super tiny, right? A simple placement, solid placement run.
A booyah for any of these teams will just push them all the way up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that at all. Who's next? Kalahari Philippines, on the other hand, seems to be struggling a little bit too much. Now, for a team that managed to grab the 4th spot overall in the league stage, has got the player with the most number of kills during the group stage, during the league stage, sorry, in the name of Let's Go, seems to be struggling on another level here at the grand finals.
Yeah.
But it might just be the grand finals jitters.
Could be. I mean, it's a peculiar case where some people just, they don't do well.
Yeah.
The pressure's too
like
much.
AKO Ultraman, GG, WP.
Yeah. Because some people play much easier when it's just very chill. There's no pressure. They make those decisions very well. But speaking of decision, we're going to be jumping into our next game very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. But of course, we have got a lot of things to say on broadcast. We speak for hours and hours non-stop. And you guys, as we speak, you guys listen to us, and you might have some thoughts running through your head that you want to share with us as well. So what are you waiting for? Take the hashtag of the Snapdragon Pro Series, throw it into the comment section, share your thoughts out there on social media so that we can pick it up and feature you on our broadcast.
And be that one guy that says, wear GIM. I'm very sure it's not just one. I'm very sure there's going to be more. But to all of our viewers on Twitch, do let us know in the predictions, who do you think is going to be winning in our final round today, as we are going to be jumping into Purgatory. And I mean, it's the last game of the day. The booyah can be impactful for one of these mid running teams. Who can get it?
Or it can further solidify those who are leading the leaderboards right now. So let's see exactly where the momentum will swing in the final matchup of the day at Purgatory, where people usually pay for their sins, but this time round, they're trying to not sin all that too much, because sinning early in the matchup just means you get sent right back to the lobby in a no revival setup. Coming through in the competition, the players of Legion and Anxiety sharing the exact same drop spot down there at Central, being just bombarded by shots from the early side is not going to be something that the players of Anxiety look out for as they quickly break away into Brigade. But they have to be really careful because Lumber Mill is taken over by Orange Esports. That island that usually doesn't see much action is now a little overcrowded.
Yeah, I think someone's going to vacate that island as soon as possible. I'm kind of hoping it's Orange.
Yeah.
We've seen what's happened if you sort of let Orange get taken out first.
Saving grace here, though, is the fact that it has got a lot of zip lines that will allow you to back away. And Orange Esports is actually close to one of the best zip lines that takes them straight in towards the area of Forge. Now, that could definitely bring them to meet K9 Superman, but it's a little bit better than Anxiety or Legion that is perhaps waiting to eat them up. But
I mean, both are terrible. Neither option is preferable, if you're going to be completely honest.
Yeah, Kanoho's just a little too far away from all of this action.
It's okay if they go into K9. The team that got the booyah last round.
I don't know, right? Anxiety is just
You
giving me
can't
a little
win.
anxiety because of Kanoho's positioning there.
Yeah.
But hard to get on the other hand. I do not want to get any more hard to get puns, so we're just going to skip past them. And Legion, we're going to talk a little bit about Legion instead.
Well, okay, as much as I want to talk about Legion, there's not really much happening.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Anxiety isn't making a move, Legion is just looting. I'm wondering if any of the teams even have seen each other. I'm assuming there may have been, like, a spec, but no one's making a move yet. So I guess it's just full-on looting. Play slow. Just wait.
I might pull an Ikuto here and say, like, you know, if you
Are you gonna
if
call
you
them
didn't
noob?
spot anyone there as you went in there for a drop, you're a noob. no, I'm not
Oh
gonna do that. But yeah, they clearly saw each other. But you know,
I saw it
disengaging very early from any of those potential battles will prove to be the right move for all of these teams, because in the final round, the last thing that you want to have happen to yourself is stepping into a gunfight without much bullets on your side.
Well, luckily, it seems like ORV are going to be getting out there nice and smooth. No one really within the vicinity to punish them, so pretty smooth game. I'm wondering... Okay, so we do have Eva actually driving around with a couple of vehicles. And are they going to spot them out? That's the question. I think for now, they're just making donuts.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just wondering exactly what's happening with Eva Continue as a squad.
Are they donutting? Is that a donut? No, that's half a donut. That's a U-turn.
Just messing around with the vehicles on Purgatory. But that's definitely one of the things that you want to grab for yourself.
Oh, K9 though, coming in. Coming in hot and heavy.
Might not get caught out here by the players of K9 Esports. Yes, they were traveling in the direction of the players of ORV, but it would take a lot to motivate them to just make that cross all over. But Anxiety, on the other hand, the players of Legion haven't spotted them out just yet. Chessman has a great opportunity in here.
I think they know because who was it? I think it was someone had damage, so someone from Legion did shoot at them. I think.
Car 98. A great weapon to have in your hands if you are an accurate shooter.
Barber,
long right-hand side flank.
Barber.
Good move coming through. Pan has been spotted out. Barber needs to not be trigger happy now. And he just needs to turn around. Barber!
Oh, I think
Barber, my man, what is he doing? He doesn't shoot just yet. Steps on out, pulls out the time turner. Barber survives with just an inch of health on himself. Recovers in time. Mickey, on the other hand, flies on straight. But Barber gets knocked down onto the ground thanks to a grenade delivery by Pan. Kanoho responds by knocking Leica down onto the ground with his grenade, and the players of Anxiety quickly close that gap to give Barber the desperately needed backup.
Yeah, they do. So Legion do pick up Pan, and I think after they saw that, they just decided this is not a team we want to go up against. And this is where the kill feed comes really important, because you know who you're going up against.
Yeah.
You can pick your
what a
fights. Oh, Pan. Rest in pieces.
Yeah, Pan unfortunately just had his foot sticking out, and Toby bit it right off. Barber, on the other hand, just closing down the distance, has to spot out Lane. Spectacular from the back. Wasik Philippines steals away Lane from the side of Legion, and the players of Anxiety deals with Tacular as well. AC80 for the strike, and Wasik Philippines grabs all of these stray kills. Kanoho put down onto the ground, and the zone might just get the job done, but Tacular now quickly repositioning as he himself gets tagged up, Donnelly.
Wow, I think they just saved Mickey's life there. Warsik's actually coming in for the backstab, actually preventing Anxiety from getting any more kills. But the question is, are these two teams going to stay here? Because yes, the zone is sitting on top of them, but the damage right now is negligible, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they do try and fight each other here, but it looks like they're going to try and pick each other up with some vehicles. Legion, safest play, just hide. Wait, Vulture.
Wasik Philippines, on the other hand, with the car ablaze, has to find a little bit of cover. And Tacular, what a beautiful time turner pulled out just to make sure he doesn't get taken out of the equation. And Wasik Philippines, still full squad, can catch Mickey off guard here. AC-80 in the hands of Mickey, but Invoker catches his back. One final shot could have done the deed, but Mickey manages to slide away in the nick of time. And Wasik Philippines, just with a single kill onto their side, are starting to get a little careless with their approaches here, which might not be the safest way to approach this next situation.
Yep, they're trying to prevent that healing coming in, but very unfortunate actually that they try and shoot at their saviors.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like they're going to be able to tell who they're shooting at anyway. Maybe they thought it was anxiety. So Mickey likely going to go down here, unfortunately. But where's his last teammate? They are they out? I don't see Legion anywhere, minus Mickey.
Oh, Mickey.
I think they got out.
Made one unfortunate mistake, looked up instead of down, and Invoker took advantage. Anxiety now engaging with the players of Divine. Not by choice, as Divine storms the front. They have got the numbers advantage here. They take those shots back to back, but Zen OP runs out of time, gets put down onto the ground by Toby, and the backstab. Shura now dealing with Barba, has got the double barrel in hand. What a turnaround. Pulls out the glue wall as well, and the backstab by Kanoho puts Shura down onto the ground. Kanoho takes Shura out of the equation, whereas Newbie knocks Chessman down. Anxiety cannot afford to lose Chessman. Toby out of the equation. Divine putting on a lot of hurt, but Newbie now, as he backs away to pick Mirol up, it's going to be two players on the side of Divine to take this next engagement. Kanoho alongside Barba. It's a 2v2 that neither squad can afford.
Yeah, it's going to be very risky, but who has the better close quarter combat? It looks like they're going to avoid each other, so yeah, both teams going to be saving. But GM Remy with hard to get. GM Remy is out! Oh, the whole team is out! And they only managed to take one player down with them, but it looks like Batman actually gets eliminated here. And hard to get! Vultured, deleted. Yes, they got rid of one of the top dogs, but they also get eliminated.
Just when we were asking exactly who's next, Kalahari Philippines doing in the battlefield, as they were quite proficient in picking up kills, they step it right back up. Yado not really slowing down the pace at all. They catch sight of the players of Orange Esports, tagging them up little by little. The blue zone putting on a little bit of damage from the back as well, putting the extra bit of pressure onto Orange Esports. Clearly not something that they want, but who's next? Kalahari Philippines making sure they can pick up all of these precious kills as the biggest fishes get fried quite early.
It was a very big fish, but we still got a couple of fish left in this ocean. And I don't think anyone else is really in a position to get easily eliminated unless it's a full-on blown 1v1, 2v2 vulturing happening. But interesting circle today. We are going to be getting a more eastern circle, which means Ski Lodge is... I mean, most teams abandon Ski Lodge, right? Because all the circles head in every other direction. So now it's a viable place to be. And I mean, ORV, they've been here for the majority of the game.
Yeah, Ski Lodge is just a terrible place to take a gunfight, right? I mean,
but it's pretty good now.
Because if you're running away and if you're on the lower ground, by the time you wrap around one side of Ski Lodge, you're already dead on the ground already. Someone's got the backstab, right? But on top of Ski Lodge,
I was going to say,
it's a fancy place to hold.
Especially with an eastern circle. Yeah. Let's see if ORV are able to do anything with it. Because even though their positioning is good, it doesn't equate to anything unless you eliminate teams or get kills.
Correct.
So
Barba, vehicle on his side. Mirol tries to shoot it out of existence, but he manages to disengage Mirol. Oh, but Tom, on the other hand, finds the back of the vehicle. Hawkeye knocks Pain down onto the ground. Who's next? Kalahari Philippines on for the pressure as well. And Anxiety might just lose yet another player out there on the battlefield, as the car now that he was driving around on the battlefield gets blown up into smithereens. Do the players of Orange Esports keep the pressure up on everybody else with the high ground that they hold on to, but at the same time, they're revealing their position a little bit too early for my liking, Danley.
Yeah, and a lot of the teams that are in favorable positions, they are also removing vehicles from play so that teams aren't able to use them to comfortably get into those new circles. But wow, look at that circle there for ORV. They're just sitting on top of Ski Lodge, more than happy to just stay here. Orange, they're going to have to go right through, I do believe it's WNX. This is not a really good place to be because, as you can see, ORV are going to spot them out as well.
And I think K9 Esports are about to get their wish come true because they might just be able to hold up some extra signs for us. I'm just more curious to know whether or not they've prepared like extra signs for Booyah number 2, Booyah number 3.
No. They'll stick with their signs.
Do
You,
you think
got to show off your girlfriends. It just makes sense.
But it's such a
It's
waste
just a free
of
fire thing.
opportunity. It's such a waste of opportunity. I mean, like you've already given that shout out once. Why would you give out the exact same shout out? Unless you're the guy looking for that eternal duo, right?
Okay, you know what?
He desperately needs to.
They need to make another sign, but this time it's looking for sponsors. It makes sense. No? It's like, yes, okay, your girlfriends. Wonderful.
Maybe.
Sponsors. Sponsor our team.
Maybe they might just be able to get that right, but the players of Wasik Philippines, on the other hand, are sick and tired of Legion evading all of their shots as they try to look for them. ORV finds Orange Esports.
Ooh.
Legion finally gets taken down by Too Slow and the side of Wasik Philippines, and ORV holding on to the high ground advantage tries to choke out the players of Orange Esports, and all of those shots are pulling in the attention from the team that is slowly closing into their position as well. The one and only Divine, but Dizo Groza in hand.
They
He
can't get
gets
the
all
knocks.
tagged up. He's trying to run uphill, but here's one more problem. Oh, Axel from the back. Wasik Philippines getting stuck in an engagement with the players of AKO Ultraman as well.
Look at this race. Both teams are just trying to race that circle. Now, Orange Esports, they are on the low grounds. They could potentially get the knocks. But I have to say, kind of disappointed with ORV because they have such a good place.
Yeah.
But they haven't been able to get any crucial knocks, any free kills.
I
It
mean-
almost feels like it's kind of a waste to be up here because you're not looting. You're just camping one spot and you can't even loot the bodies.
It's a great position to hold on to, but you got to have that.
They gotta
the mechanical capability to get all of those skills right. But they're just a little too afraid to show their hits because when you're on the
Uh-oh.
higher ground, yes, you get the extra bit of information, but it's easy to headshot you.
There's 5
Barbara
grenades.
down onto the ground. Great
on,
nade
Tom.
coming through from Tom. Barbara's gonna get taken out of the equation, and that's exactly what happens as Tom takes himself down with the grenade. What is going on, Tom? And he will potentially be revived here, but outside of the zone, my lord, Newbie finishes off Tom. What a mishap on the side of Orange Esports.
That was... Sometimes you just don't get lucky with the bounces, you know? You think you know where it's going and it decides, nope, I'm coming back. I'm a boomerang, I'm not a bomb.
It's like you try to take the bounce, but the ball bounces and hits you in the face, right? Unfortunate. And this ball is a grenade. Tom didn't stand a
I
chance.
just think Purgatory is secretly Australia. So whatever grenade you have is actually a boomerang. You throw it and it's like, I'm coming back. Catch me.
Spectacular setup on the defense, but has got no backup just yet. Too Slow with the right-hand side flank, trying to hold Yado back from aggressing on. Let's go. Mother Nature providing the little bit of extra support for Too Slow as the Wasik Philippines players try to find that cover. Yado still manages to get him down onto the ground. Tacular, on the other hand, knocks down one. Wasik Philippines taken out of the equation, all thanks to Who's Next Kalahari Philippines. The team that got questioned just before this round started is stepping it up to answer those questions.
Yeah, and WNX, they are also the kill leaders for this game, so they are in a pretty good position to potentially take that booyah, but they still need to worry about these high ground teams, right? K9 are looking to be in a fantastic spot. They have a compound, it's on the high ground, they've got a lot of cover to work with. But the question is, can they get these knocks? And they do get one. They got Decos, and he's alone.
Yeah, unfortunately, Decos is going to get taken out of the equation as K9 Esports blank.
AKO.
They managed to find Goku as well. It's going to be Normain who picks off that kill instantaneously, and K9 Esports potentially might be able to secure yet another booyah for themselves. 2 back-to-back booyahs, and 3 teams maximum who picks up booyahs for the day. I'll take that anytime. ORV Diesel, Mag 7 in hand, closes in the distance between himself as well as the other players on the side of Eva. Continue, but all of them barricaded inside of a tiny little compound in here, and no grenades in the hands of Dizo to take advantage suddenly.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to try and go for an eviction of that compound. They will be able to get that pickup at least onto Dizo, so it's not all lost here, but it's getting really hairy within that compound. Everyone wants to move in, you know. Winter's coming, you got to have somewhere warm. Kick out the occupants, get out of there, this is my house.
Abnoy down on the ground, but a glue wall will save him. Riptide Rhythm takes down the glue wall. Dizo put down onto the ground as well. What a shot by K9. Grenade! My God! Who called this guy out, and who asked him to use the grenade? Because he just blew himself up into smithereens. It's just a little unfortunate. Superman still playing the game of survival, trying to hold on for Pain and Romain to come and catch up with him. But who's next? Kalasag Philippines finishing off the little pieces in here as Superman gets put out of commission. The players of the players of K9 quickly circle around. Who's next has got a full squad here. It's a 4v2. K9 Esports might not stand a chance.
I don't think they can, right? It's only 2 players against that 4. They don't really have any defender's advantage, but Normain really wants to come in here. Very, very brave, but do you think he can do it? I just... I think it's a last-ditch effort.
Oh my god, this is a big fight coming through because K9 Esports, instead of engaging with the players right there towards their left, Who's Next Kalahari Philippines, they instead take the shots against AKO Ultraman, which puts the players of Who's Next Kalahari Philippines in the best spot to pick up this next booyah. Only 3 more squads left in the mix, but Let's Go gets put down onto the ground thanks to a great grenade from the side of Too Fast, and the time turner will be pulled out in front of a double glue wall. No Riptide Rhythm is going to be able to flex them just yet. Yep, AKO drops one guy. No main final player on the side of K9 Esports, but AKO outside. K9 Esports taken out. This might just be the opportunity for Who's Next Kalahari Philippines.
3v4. Oh boy. Can they do it? AKO, they have been dying for a booyah. Can they finally redeem themselves?
Okay, Max 7 has got the opportunity to turn things around here, but the maze of glue walls to make his way around just does not allow him to take that full advantage. It's going to be Lemon. Oh, double barrel, perfect shot, on for the aim. AKO down, and it is going to be the players who managed to travel all the way through the one and only Who's Next Kalahari Philippines. And just when we ask the question, what happened to Let's Go, the person that got the highest kills in the league stage? What happened to Who's Next Kalahari Philippines, those who managed to pick up the 4th place in the league stage? They answer back well. Here we are, Mustachio, with the booyah.
And they also eliminated AKO in the process.
I love it. I love it.
But then you have that one person who just...
I love it. I love it, right? I mean, we have these winner cams to see their reactions, and we've seen shout-outs, but that's the very first time we see a little bit of entertaining coming through from the players as well, right? And
I mean, we had K9 coming in with the signs, right? So I think something was bound to give. We're supposed to have some of the fun cams.
we get the cheeky side of all of these players. That's exactly why I love the Philippines, right? The Malaysians, on the other hand, they are very serious. You know, they're like, you know, we knew we had this in the bag all this while, but unfortunately at the grand finals of the Snapdragon Pro Series this time round, all-out Filipino dominance still comes through. And just when I thought that maybe in this final round AKO Ultraman might be able to steal away the victory, Philippines strikes again.
Philippines strikes again. I was kind of hoping that AKO would be able to redeem themselves because again, right, we came into the grand final, they were top of the charts, they were actually quite far ahead of everyone in terms of kills, placements, so I was expecting a lot.
So was I. I mean, I predicted them to pick up the very first booyah. But, I mean, my prediction went down the drain, and so did the performance of AKO Ultraman alongside that. But it was quite the great fight between GM, Remy, as well as Anxiety throughout the day as they managed to pick up those booyahs back and forth. You know, they kind of pushed it between each other. And just when we saw them rise up to the top, it came to a point where they got a little overconfident in the competition. And all of these sort of performances started dropping out.
Yeah, I mean, it could also be a case of exhaustion, right? Because these teams have just played 5 games back-to-back. This is their 6th game. It's their last game of the day. And, I mean, right now, it's 11 o'clock at night.
I want to say it is, but, you know, I expect these players to be, like, playing 20 lobbies a day to prepare for this sort of a battle. So, you know, 6 matches shouldn't be too much for them. But I guess 6 matches in a lobby like this might be quite
like very intense lobby as well. Because you're playing with the best of the best, basically, in the competition. So, and I guess there's also another factor to consider, right? Because these teams have played against each other for the past couple of weeks, they have information on you. They know where you like to drop. They know your pathing. So they have things that they could at their disposal for someone to potentially intercept them.
Correct. And we see a lot of those setups, especially in the early stages, as they all manage to quickly divide themselves into their separate compounds and try to disengage as much as possible. But, you know, one of the teams that were not super lucky in disengaging were Orange Esports. And that was one of the teams we were focusing in on the second half of day number 1, right? But it seems like there was a little bit of an improvement from the side of Orange Esports too.
Yeah, it's just, I think for Orange Esports, you really got to kick it into gear tomorrow. We still have another play day for anyone that's a little bit confused. This is a 2-day grand final, so these teams are at the halfway point. They played their 6 games, we've got 6 more to go. And, of course, we do need to take a look at the round standings for the game that just happened. As you can see at the top, Who's Next Kalahari going to be finishing the round with 23 points. Second, we have AKO Ultraman with 16 points. Third, we have K9 Esports. And then we have ORV Tyrants and War 6 Philippines with 8 points apiece. And if we take a look at the other end of the bracket, bit of a shock here. We've got GM Remy finishing with only a single point.
Yeah. An anxiety with 4 points there, and that clearly allows K9 Esports to step on over, grab that second spot, get a little closer to anxiety, give anxiety a little bit of anxiety, because 2 back-to-back non-performing rounds, once again a little overconfident after doing so well at the start of the day, has proved to be quite the unfortunate circumstance here for these two squads. But that's exactly what I asked for, right? I don't feel like a fortune teller, but I feel like the universe is just giving me exactly what I want. Because I wanted these teams to falter. I wanted them to fall a little early so that, you know, we can see the competition get a little revived in terms of excitement as to who's going to be able to rise up to the top. But 6,301 damage for 5 kills shows you how inefficient K9 Esports was this round. I'm sorry. But
Wow. I mean, that's huge. Okay, here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
They're doing a lot of the damage, but people are taking the kills from them. But it just goes to show how accurate they are. Yes, they might not get the full headshot. Like, sometimes it just happens. Everyone out there is just like, oh, mine.
And because of that little feature in Free Fire that allows your kills to get stolen away, you cannot get trigger happy. You have to be the ones that gets the final shot instead of the guy knocking everyone down.
Hello, leaderboard. So we do have one major change, which is K9 Esports. They've actually overtaken GM Remy because GM Remy faltered in that last round because they only gained 1 point.
Yeah, faltered twice back-to-back,
Yes,
GM
actually.
Remy. Yeah, and obviously just sticking with their 60 points. And your anxiety, on the other hand, not really running away all that too much. And now just a mere 13 points between K9 Esports and anxiety. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the competition once again has been blown wide open. AKO Ultraman might seem a little bit out of it, but this is exactly why we have got the double grand final setup for you guys here at the Snapdragon Pro Series. Because on day number 1, some teams may dominate, but on day number 2, that's exactly where we see the rest rise up to the occasion and play some of these counter tactics to secure some extra points for themselves down.
Yeah, I really want to see, especially for tomorrow's games, who's going to be doing the research, who's going to be the aggressors, because we know some teams are just going to stick to what they're comfortable with, because that's what they're good at.
Yeah.
But I suspect tomorrow we're going to have some attackers, as I call it, right? Teams that will go for those hot drops. They're going to research the paths of these teams and try and intercept them to try and eliminate them early. And I think day 2, it's perfect setup for it because you have the information to work with now.
I guess the only outliers in the whole performance of day number 1 is Wasik Philippines. And this is a team that I did not expect to see so much of firepower from. 26 kills overall. They managed to kind of sort things out for themselves. And this was the team that kind of struggled in the engagements during the league stages. And Orange Esports kind of ranking below ORV Tyrants on the other hand.
I mean, they're at the bottom of the bracket. It's shocking. I'm going to be honest.
Shocking.
I have to say it. Yeah.
Yeah, because Orange Esports is not the kind of team that is new to the competitive scene. They've been around for quite a while. They have got a lot of resources to kind of help these players play their best. But unfortunately, something seems to be wrong now, and we don't seem to be getting the best out of them.
Yeah. Well, we are going to move on and jump into our final interview of the day. So let's see what's happening with what's next on the VM stream.
Oh, absolutely. Who's next? Kalahari, Philippines. Let's see exactly who we get to interview. It's not going to be us. It's the Barca casters who will be getting that done. But
sad times.
We'll enjoy the show.
Wait.
Now we can hear you.
Now we can hear you.
Wait, sir.
Okay.
No voice. Nombor yang ada dial ada di samping mata. Terima kasih.
A little unfortunate here because they seem to have connected the wrong headphone. I mean, it was all the confusion that erupted from that final circle, and it has continued into real life as well. It's a little unfortunate.
Everything's a little bit bedazzled.
Yeah, but we saw the look on Yadov's face. What he wanted to share with us is he's really, really glad that they managed to find a little bit of momentum, at the very least, to the end of the day, because technically it's going to help them start tomorrow off on a great note.
Is it though? Because tomorrow's a new day. The competition might change. Are they going to change? We don't know. We have no idea how these teams are going to prep. And they have a whole day tomorrow to start because tomorrow's broadcast starts at the exact same time, which is going to be 7:50 p.m. Malaysian time, Singapore time, whatever time, GMT plus 8. That's all you need to care about. But they basically have a whole day to prepare.
Yeah.
So what changes are we going to be seeing?
Well, mainly it's going to be the changes in the way they approach these matches, right? Because very clearly we see a confirmed drop spots for all of these teams. But on that note,
And
ladies and gentlemen, boys
an
and girls, they
interview.
found the right headset. Let's jump back to that interview.
So I just want to ask you, so what happened on the first
What
5
happened?
games? Because who's next Kalasat was not performing, but then last game suddenly boom, you guys get a booyah.
Ito. Wait, sir.
Okay.
Ano, what do you call this? I guess we we give way to other teams.
Oh, give chance
Just
first.
kidding, just kidding, just kidding.
Wah, baik hati ni. Oh, very dangerous.
Just kidding, sir.
Okay, so are you surprised with anxiety position right now because they have 2 booyah and they have a lot of kill points? Do you surprised with the result or expected the anxiety going to be strong?
Yes. We already expected that GM and AXT will dominate this finals, and but we didn't expect that they're going to change their rotation and
Change
their
their
gameplay.
rotation and gameplay. I see. All right.
Yes,
So
yes.
I can see that all the PH team they have some kind of ritual where when they win, they get a booyah, they will show a girlfriend picture. So I guess you guys single, that's why didn't show any girlfriend picture.
No, I don't have girlfriend.
I'm so
My
sad.
teammates have girlfriend.
Oh.
But I have a loved ones.
No,
But
right.
I don't
Don't cry,
want to. But I don't want to see other people.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's
It's okay,
okay.
bro.
You see, your friend consult you. No worries. Still got friends. We don't have girlfriends, but got friends. Good enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got friends. I got friends.
It's okay. Don't cry.
Okay, so my next question to you, what is the expectation from tomorrow for who's next Kalasat? Are you going to perform better for tomorrow?
Yes, sir. We will meeting after this. We will go to a meeting. We're going to have a meeting. So
I see.
we can, what do you call this?
Discuss.
We can
and-
manage to perform tomorrow.
Okay. Since you guys say you're going to perform tomorrow, how many booyah for who's next Kalasat for tomorrow?
We will see. We will see.
Oh, we will see. I hear your friend say 6.
Yes.
Maybe 6.
Maybe 6. Maybe.
Oh, maybe 6.
That's what
Maybe
he
6.
said.
Okay. So maybe
Hopefully.
my last question to you, is there anything you guys want to say to your friends, to your family? Or
Yes, of course.
to
I
all
have
the
a lot to
fans?
shout out, you know, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Shout out to Zil, girlfriend of Let's Go, and Max Payne Viñas, girlfriend of Alfred Arsen, Hawkeye. Shout out daw kay Melon. And sa mama ko, sa papa ko, tas lalo na sa leader namin, tas sa mama ni Let's Go. Pagaling ka dyan.
Alright. Okay. Thank you
And
so
sa
much,
mga
Shadow.
support sa amin.
Alright. And all the
Thank you,
best.
sir. Bye-bye.
All the best.
See you again
Bye.
tomorrow.
See you
We will
tomorrow.
see you again tomorrow.
Oh!
You know,
I swear, it's a ritual. It is a ritual.
no, I love Yadop. I love Yadop mainly because not only is he such a fun guy to have conversations with, he remembers each and every single one of his team members and their girlfriends and who they want to shout out and what they want to shout out. I mean, this guy, he takes the initiative for the squad.
Okay, here's the thing, right? He said he's expecting to win again tomorrow. So he said, did you hear what he said at the end? We'll see you again tomorrow. As if he was going to have another interview. So clearly, this must have been a discussion before the tournament began. And they said, okay, you got to remember this for the interview session.
Look,
How confident do you have to be?
I mean, the one thing that I know for sure is they are going to be looking for those booyahs, but I don't know if or not they can guarantee 6 back-to-back. But what they might be able to guarantee you guys is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-stop action, as all of this action is brought to you guys by the Snapdragon Elite Gaming when winning matters.
Yeah. When winning matters. I mean, winning is going to matter, especially tomorrow. But AJ, who's been giving us all of our energy for today?
Well, none other than Monster Energy. And all of you guys, you get to unleash the beast. When you chug a can down, I'm pretty sure you will be able to. I am living proof of that. You hear the non-stop energy from the Mustachio. Thank you, Monster Energy.
That's why this man does not sleep. He's on 24/7. But I hate to say it, right? We've finished our last game for today. We are at the halfway mark for the grand final, but we have more happening tomorrow, which means the stream, unfortunately, is going to end. So if you do want to watch the remaining matches tomorrow, it's 6 of them. It's on the exact same maps, the exact same team, the exact same caster duo. What time are we starting, AJ?
We are starting sharp at 8 p.m. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you want to be ahead of everybody else and get all of the information ahead of time, make sure you hop on into our Discord as well and be a part of our community. We will have all of our moderators assist you with any and all questions that you have. So if you've ever wondered, how do I become a pro player? I'm really good at these games. I really want to join the whole Free Fire Snapdragon Pro Series competition, or perhaps even just the list of other games that Snapdragon Pro Series is currently jumping on into and opening up opportunities for you guys. Being a part of that Discord group really can help you out.
You know the most important thing? When season 2? Yes, there's a season 2. All right, so unfortunately, that's going to be the end for us. AJ, thank you for being on the stream. It's been amazing casting with you, but we're going to be doing it again tomorrow. Are you excited?
I am super duper excited. A little bit more excited than I was today, because we didn't know what to expect. Now that I know that we can expect the unexpected in the competition, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am pumped up. On that note, my name's AJ. I'm the Mustachio down here with the amazing Dan and Lee. We're going to sign off. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and Monster Energy.
If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited. Like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and beat them.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and Monster Energy.
Won't stop going till a player on top know it. Rooftop, penthouse, suite. If you really want it, gotta own it. Fight through it, we was at the lowest. Blood, sweat, tears, the components. Riding all year, now's the moment. We are not afraid, we are opponents. Yeah, I'm coming for mine. Yeah, I'm making a play, the game on the line. Yeah, I've been on the grind. Yeah, I jump in the spot, I made it my time. Yeah, look in the sky. Yeah, the stars align, no shade to shine. Can't stop it already. Emotional work and devotion, we put in this time. Look.